solo leveling continuation finally arrives. The story revolves around the shadow monarch Cheng Xiao and his son Cheng Xiuhao. Cheng Xiuhao not only inherited his father's excellent genes, but also continues his father's initial setup as a useless, non-awakened individual. It turns out this is a world ruled by outer gods, creating countless supremely ordinary beings throughout history, who are called the Absolutes. The Absolutes are obsessed with pursuing eternal immortality. In the process, countless materials, souls, and rules are born. But in this boring and unbearable endless cycle, the Absolutes suddenly came up with a game, watching the wars of the transformed beings. This is a kind of pleasure for the Absolutes. The created beings fight and break down in endless wars. Die and be reincarnated, again and again. However, this is only to relieve the boredom of the Absolutes. But accidents still happened. One day, the Absolutes who were watching the endless war were killed by the beings they created. The Absolutes from other worlds learned the news. To observe the world that lost its master, they gathered together. The death of a relative, and killed by their creation, to boot. Who would have thought that the Absolutes would be indifferent to this? Now they only have one thought. That is to seize the power that lost its master. Whoever grabs it first belongs to them. And I am in this world created by the Absolutes. And got into the National Academy of Fine Arts. My friend was incredulous about this. You, a roughneck, actually got into art school. And I have to repeat a year. Suddenly a voice came from behind. Congratulations, Cheng Xiuhao. I heard you got into art school. I didn't expect you to have this kind of talent. When did you have a talent for painting? And the person who came was the school bully Wang Qingxia. Damn it. I'm warning you again, I'm not Wang Qingxia. I am Liang Che. All because of you my plan to dominate high school failed. To this I replied with disdain. Thanks to me, you were able to graduate smoothly, right? The students were used to this scene. Graduation is almost here. Why is Liang Che still so childish? Why does he always have to provoke Cheng Xiuhao, whose parents are missing but is still forcing himself to smile? Who would have thought that the next second Liang Che actually wanted to attack me? But I first dodged his attack with a sidestep, then pressed his head down. Get yourself together, graduation is close, I said, a murderous aura bursting out of my eyes. With a flying kick, I brutally kicked him in the face. But Liang Che suddenly had a wicked smile on his face and gathered power in his right hand. Are you out of shape or something, Cheng Xiuhao? Then a punch directly blasted me into the wall. Seeing this, I was stunned, and the students nearby were also shocked, their jaws dropping. At this time, Liang Che withdrew his attack. A hole as thick as a well had been left in the wall. Liang Che couldn't believe his eyes. When did I become so strong? Time flies, 3 years have passed, and I have entered my second year of college. It's a noisy mess around me. It turns out the classes in the main building have been moved to the auxiliary building classroom. Please go to the auxiliary building for class as soon as possible. Hunters have entered the transfer gate to suppress the monsters. So everyone can't go in for the time being. A man asked the man, how long has the hunter been inside? It's been more than 8 hours. All the level are Earth level, and the hunters should be coming out soon. And outside, people are being reminded to leave as soon as possible. It's dangerous to stay here. All this is because of what happened 3 years ago. After the appearance of transfer gates around the world 3 years ago, the world has undergone earth-shattering changes. The transfer gate is a passage to the dungeon, and large numbers of monsters will emerge from it every once in a while, injuring humans. But as if to contend with it, humans have also quietly changed. A large number of ability users with magic power have appeared, and awakened people are emerging in an endless stream like bamboo shoots after a rain. In this rapidly changing world, it was thought that the chaos would continue, but an awakened person called Wuzhen established the Hunter Association, gathered awakened people, and established the will of the hunter. And the chaotic state was quickly brought under control. Therefore, humans are now divided into 2 types. One type is hunters with awakened status, and the other is ordinary people with unawakened status. Some outsiders need to work like ants to earn rewards, while some people can get considerable rewards without doing anything. In such an unfair social. In the social structure, the ants deeply realize the gap with the awakened. No matter how hard they try, they can't make up for the gap with the lowest level awakened. If the hunters don't guard the transfer, if there were no awakened people, then these unawakened people would not be able to survive. Conversely, if there were no unawakened people, the awakened people would still be able to survive. Therefore, the public is still grateful to the hunters because their existence. The public can still live a stable life, but at the same time, the sense of panic in their hearts is also flowing. Everyone has gradually become accustomed to not being able to possess. Lost parents lives in the hands of others, and that time full of expectations for the future, the gap left after losing everything. It is all occupied by this sense of powerlessness. Mom always said that I look like Dad. In this helpless situation, if it were Dad, how would he solve it? At this time, a shame sound interrupted my thoughts. Your concentration is good today. What are you drawing so seriously? This ant you drew is really unique. No, it should be said that he looks like an ant-man. I was stunned. How did I draw? Drew an array? At the same time, on the street outside, the hunters finally walked out of the transfer gate slowly. It seems like this time was quite easy, looking like a triumphant return. A staff member responsible for interview records asked, "Thank you for your hard work, Hunter Wang Zhengxiu." But Wang Zhengxiu had a serious look on his face. Although this time's suppression of the dungeon was a great success, there is one thing that must be reported to the Hunter Association. We encountered a new type of monster this time. Humanoid monsters with blue flames shooting from their eyes and mouths, mainly using claws and fangs to attack, but their lethality is very low. This time, I was scratched by him, but I didn't feel any discomfort, so it doesn't seem to pose any threat to us. This is also the first time since the appearance of the transfer gate that we have encountered such a monster. Fortunately, it's not a dangerous guy, but the next second, the place where Wang Zhengxiu was stabbed suddenly bled, and a strange energy burst out from the wound, and the whole person began to trance. Seeing this scene, the interviewer immediately asked suspiciously, "Are you okay?" But Wang Zhengxiu didn't seem to hear it. So the interviewer shouted again, "Hunter Wang Zhengxiu." But who would have thought that Wang Zhengxiu would suddenly roar, spraying a burst of strange blue energy, then suddenly piercing the chest of the interviewer. The hunters nearby are also with a surprised look on their faces. "Hunter Wang Zhengxiu, what's wrong?" At this time, Wang Zhengxiu already did not have the look of a hunter. Grabbing humans is a wild and crazy act. The passers-by on the street can only escape. The students are also curiously looking out the window, but after seeing the scene below, they just gasped for a mouthful of air. The humans bitten by the hunter on the street actually attacked each other, with blue flames in their eyes. Now they seem like monsters. Could it be that there is a dungeon out of control event? At this time, some people quickly try to escape, while others are waiting for the hunters to rescue them. "Teacher Lin, aren't you an awakened person? Please think of a way." But Teacher Lin also looked helpless. "I'm just a level 1 awakened person." But the next second, the voice of an infected hunter appeared on the opposite building. He suddenly slammed his foot on the ground, and a newspaper flew towards me. The students were frightened for a while, but I reacted immediately and shouted to escape. But while escaping, I found a student with soft legs was frightened, just begging me to save him. But I thought of the hunter in the first time, and only the hunter can save him. But in a flash, my heart was occupied by unwillingness. Leaving him behind, there is only a dead end. But what can I do as an unawakened person? This damn unawakened person, what can complaining do? Let's think about what we can do. Cheng Xiuhao, if Dad were here, what would he do at this time? The image of his father appeared suddenly in his mind, just as the infected person was about to rush towards the girl. Cheng Xiuhao finally chose to take action, because if Dad were here, he would definitely not choose to stand idly by. Suddenly a buzzing electrical current sounded in Cheng Xiuhao's mind. "Notice, you have met the completion conditions for the secret mission, Weakling's Courage. Your father is clearly the shadow monarch Cheng Xiaoyu who despises all worlds, but I am his only son, and should be blessed with various buffs and auras. Who would have thought that I couldn't even beat the class hooligan? I was even blasted into the wall with a punch like trash. Not only that, even if I have awakened now, but I am so weak that I can't even beat a low-level monster, and was ruthlessly crushed on the ground by Qian. Just now, I suddenly thought of a dream I had, just like a game. Each level has monsters that become more powerful, and in order to defeat them, I can only keep upgrading, because when I encounter powerful monsters, I must become stronger than them. After countless challenges, I finally reached the last level, where I encountered the final treasure chest. Although it is an enemy, it's power. But it made me feel envious, and even produced respect. But for some reason this treasure chest suddenly touched my forehead. Is the game fun? Hearing this, I looked puzzled. Game. And how familiar is the person in front of me? Dad? He should be my dad. I think the dream is what Dad looks like in my heart. A powerful and very stable dad. But how did he become so strong? So Dad, in this dilemma, if it were you, you would do the same as me, right? Then what should I do now? I heard that even if an awakened person without magic power attacks, they can't hurt a monster. But then I suddenly reacted. Did I do all this? Did I really defeat this monster? But the next second, I was surprised to find that time had suddenly stopped. At this time, a dialogue box suddenly appeared in front of me. You have met the completion conditions for the secret mission Weakling's Courage. You have obtained player qualifications. Do you accept? Moreover, this scene is exactly the same as the dream I had before. If all this is true, in this desperate situation, what reason do I have to refuse it? So I chose to accept without hesitation. As a golden light flashed in front of me, I heard the system say, "Welcome to becoming a player. Task reward. Secret mission, Weakling's Courage, Great Wizard Candy-Aru's Blessing. The Great Wizard Candy-Aru has prepared a special gift for you. Description of Candy Mission Rewards. Lasting effect. Health and longevity, immune to all diseases, toxins, and abnormal states. When in a sleep state, regeneration will be greatly improved. This system will help players grow. This is not a fantasy. Life is only once and cherish it. Life Ching Shohao, Level 1, Strength, Stamina, Agility, Intelligence, and Perception are all reality. Active Skill, Dominator of Omnipotence. Is this my game status? Then the system sent a new mission. Eliminate the mysterious flame beast and upgrade. At the same time returned to flow again. I immediately reminded the girl next to me. Run. Escape. From the names of these monsters, the opponents are 2 infected unawakened people and 1 hunter. Then can I assume that if I really awaken successfully, and like the game in the dream, then I can easily kill the infected people in front of me? So I immediately clenched my fists tightly with just a casual punch. The unawakened infected person in front of me was directly smashed into the ceiling. Sure enough, it was just as I imagined. At this time, the system also prompted at the same time, you have successfully killed the unawakened infected person, and it was only with 1 punch. So I rushed to another unawakened infected person again without hesitation, kicking the unawakened monster. Notice. You have killed the unawakened infected person. At this time, I also reached level 2, but then the system sent a new mission again. Eliminate the mysterious flame beast and upgrade. And the rewards from the previous round have been sent. Now I can finally confirm that I have really awakened, and then punch the awakened infected person with a punch. But then I was surprised to find that this guy did not die, and also took the opportunity to launch an attack on me. His claws directly tore my chest. I immediately stepped on the ground and kicked the awakened infected person into the air, and then checked my injuries. Damn it, in the game, once you get hurt, you will be infected. I guessed that I would become a monster if I awakened. But at this time, the system suddenly prompted. Abnormal state that perceives damage to the soul and successfully triggers health and longevity. The abnormal state has been eliminated. As soon as the words fell, the wound recovered quickly with the naked eye. At this time, I remembered. The effect of health and longevity seems to not be visible in the status box. If this is the case, then it proves that I am weaker than the infected Earth level. Then I should be level 1. I finally awakened successfully. Why bother about these levels? But I can only watch the awakened infected person come over. But at this time, the mission reward from the previous round suddenly appeared, so I chose to receive it without hesitation. Ability value points +5, strength points +3. This reward came just in time, and my strength instantly came to 14 points. So I grabbed the chest of the awakened infected person with 1 hand, and punched his chest again, then kicked him in the air. But the next second, the awakened infected person stood up again, so I grabbed his collar and punched him again, but found that my attack was like maintenance to him. Even if I increased the strength in my hands again, I still couldn't cause fatal damage to him, so I immediately made a decision, then add all the rewarded points to strength. Then clenched his fists again. An awakened person who can continue to upgrade is simply unheard of to others, because the level of the awakened person is already fixed at the moment of awakening. No awakened person has ever been able to surpass the level and continue to become stronger. Although I don't know who decides the level an unawakened person, but as long as I have the ability to get rid of this damn structure, I will try my best to change, so as to infinitely improve their ability after successfully killing this awakened infected person. The level has also been improved, and the whole person is already so tired that they are out of breath and can only sit on the ground panting constantly. Fortunately, I finally won. Now I have also become an awakened person. Now I has the ability to solve this disaster. At the same time, on the street, Now half of the street is infected. It seems that the situation now, it's not too good. But the next second a sword light flashed in my eyes. It turned out to be a sea-level awakened mysterious flame beast. A burst shot came to my eyes, and how should I deal with it next? Just as Qing Xiuhao was about to die at the hands of the sea-level awakened flame beast, Queen Belle returned with the order of the shadow monarch Qing Xiaoyu. At the same time, the city was broadcasting everywhere. The National Academy of Fine Arts. A dungeon out of control has occurred. Please evacuate nearby residents quickly. At this time, the soldiers muttered in a low voice, "Damn it, can only watch people die. When will the hunters dispatched by the Hunter Association will be able to arrive? I heard that it takes time to deploy hunters above level B, and the possibility of hunters being infected is not ruled out." At the same time, the sea-level awakened infected person is also walking towards me. And this guy is holding a weapon, obviously different from other mysterious flame beasts, but I just leveled up. Maybe there is still a chance of winning. But at this time, the other party's weapon swung over. The current situation, I quickly dodged. Open, grab the fire red device next to you and throw it at this guy without hesitation. And the sea-level awakened infected person was stunned for a moment, then cut open the fire red device with a knife, and suddenly the liver powder inside scattered out. And the whole room was also full of powder, taking advantage of the poor vision. I jumped out. At this time, I realized that I am not his opponent at all now. The level of the awakened person is really not a percentage, and I don't know when the hunter will arrive. What you can do now is to wait for the hunter's support. At this time, the sea-level awakened infected person suddenly emitted wisps of blue energy from his eyes and mouth. Seeing this, I instantly realized that it was not good. This guy was eyeing the floor. Some students on the floor, seeing this, several students suddenly started to shiver. Not good, he is coming over. I saw the sea-level awakened infected person holding his hands, and instantly came to the eyes of several students. I must not let this guy succeed. Then I immediately followed. It seems that it is impossible to count on the hunters. I have to find a way to solve it as soon as possible. I must stop this guy, otherwise the students will be in trouble. So a flying shot stood with the sea-level awakened infected person. Even if he could kill me with one blow, I must not let him go out. After a difficult fight, I accidentally stabbed a knife in the chest, and red blood burst out from the body, and then a mouthful of blood spurted out of the mouth, and then the whole person collapsed weakly. There was only a little blood left on the body, so I looked at my chest. Luckily, maybe the system doesn't want me to die temporarily, but just when the sea-level awakened infected person was about to kill me, a crackling current suddenly sounded in the air. And I was already drowsy at this time, but as the crackling sound grew louder, the next second it directly hit the tip of the sea-level awakened person's sword, and suddenly a white energy fell from the sky. And I closed my eyes and fainted in an instant. A giant ant figure suddenly appeared in front of me. Sorry, the subordinate is late. The giant ant just chopped it casually, and instantly broke the arm of the sea-level awakened infected person. It turned out that you bugs dared to hurt the noble person's body. Then all that awaits you is death. This blow not only killed the sea-level awakened person on the spot. The impact also injured the entire city in an instant. The soldiers in the distance were also completely frightened by this force. What is going on? The giant ant killed the sea-level awakened infected person in seconds. And then respectfully squatted next to me. Long time no see. The subordinate pays his respects to you. At this time, some scattered fragments of childhood suddenly flashed in my mind. At that time, I was lying on the ground drawing something. Suddenly, a giant long appeared in front of me, and the monster picked up the drawing and took a look. "Young master, are you drawing me?" Speaking of this, the monster suddenly cried, "Young master, I am really too moved." But the next second, I suddenly woke up. What is that? At this time, I found that I was lying in bed, and the monster that appeared in my mind turned out to be exactly the same as the ant I drew. At this time, my phone suddenly rang. "Xiaohao, what is this called? Are you seriously injured? If not, how about Uncle getting you a few awakened people as bodyguards?" But I refused my uncle's kindness on the spot. Soon, the dungeon out-of-control incident was reported on the news, because it can produce mutations and is attracting much attention in all aspects. First, a mysterious flame beast that can infect hunters and turn them into monsters was discovered, and second, this incident occurred in the city center. The support of the association came late, and third, when the hunters arrived at the scene, the mysterious flame has been killed, and it is still unknown who did it. Looking at the news on TV, I can finally confirm that I am not dreaming. I have really awakened, and I am different from ordinary awakened people. I can continue to upgrade and become stronger, but what confuses me is, how did I survive when I failed to fight the sea-level awakened mysterious flame beast at that time? This is a voice from under my bed. Seeing this, I am very brave. Long time no see. Belle is here to see the young master. Returned, I finally came to the shadow dungeon that was conquered nearby. It turned out that Belle came this time on the order of Father Changxiaoyu to unlock my seal and take back the power that should belong to me, and to resist the invasion of the outer god Yitterlin on the earth. But the residents of the dungeon do not seem to welcome my arrival, just because the current weak me cannot get their recognition at all, so I can only use my strength to prove it. Just now, when I saw me again, Belle cried loudly on the spot, "Young master, when did you become so handsome?" It really makes Belle sigh. This is countless childhood memories that flash through my mind, like re-listening to the scene. My mind is full of past memories. I know this ant. It is one of the black life forms that lived with me when I was a child. Why have I forgotten all this? This is what Belle said slowly. Belle came from other dimensions this time to meet the young master. To this I am very confused. Why did I live with these black life forms when I was a child? This thing is too strange, and it seems that it is not so small in the memory. This is because Belle consumed too much energy when crossing the dimension, and its level was also reset to level 1 by the system, but Belle is still a powerful healer. My body was also restored to its original state because of it. Belle's purpose this time was to lift the seal for me, but I didn't expect that I would lift it myself, and those dreams you had before were all things you experienced personally, and you were much stronger than you are now. It's just that the great shadow monarch Changxiaoyu only hopes that you can live a peaceful life, so he sealed your memory and power. Hearing my father's news, I immediately went crazy. You are really related to my missing father. Tell me where he is now, Belle slowly explained. The great shadow monarch is in the depths of the universe, fighting with the invaders who are invading the world. Hearing this, I finally understood. It turned out that Dad was silently protecting the world and was resisting the invasion of the gods from the outer universe. Yitterin, they sent many messengers to invade our world. Belle also wiped out many enemies on the way to find the young master. It seems that the transfer gate and monsters that appeared on the earth should also be related to this war. By the way, where did my mother go now? Belle thought for a moment. Then her whole body shook violently. How is this possible? Madam is missing. It's Yitterin. It must have been done by the apostles of Yitterin. The words made my whole person instantly cold. In that case, the reason why my parents can't come back is because of those guys called Yitterin. Do you know how I have spent these years alone? I must find my parents no matter what. Then there is only one way. The Lord is afraid that he will not be able to come to the earth in a short time, so we can only wait for the young master to become stronger and then go to find the missing lady and save me. Then the young master must improve his level as soon as possible. Let's talk about it. Just listen to a ding. Task Shadow is missing. You are the son of the great shadow monarch, but the innate power has been completely sealed. In order to activate your great power, you need to prove whether you are qualified. Please enter the shadow dungeon to prove yourself. This is the key to the shadow dungeon. Young master, you can insert the key into the young master's shadow. As I slowly inserted the key, I heard a click. A familiar domineering energy appeared in front of me. Young master, go in and take back the power that originally belonged to you. I still can't believe it. What universe? What war between gods and gods? What shadow monarch? Are all Arabian Nights to me now? But then again, becoming stronger can make me see my parents. No matter how difficult the upgrade is, I must do it. This is Belle recalling Changxiaoyu's previous words. Lord, let Belle go to Earth to help the young master lift the seal. Now, Yitterin's invasion may have spread to the Earth. Changxiaoyu replied lightly, Go ahead, find the power and memory of my son. Let him guard the Earth first, and the rest will depend on your situation. Since the Lord entrusted such a big responsibility to me, then I will never fail the Lord's expectations. Belle wants to treat the young master like the Lord and continue to accompany him to watch him grow. Young master, here it is. Without the owner's permission, living people cannot set foot in this land of the dead. Shadow dungeon. Rather than a shadow dungeon, it's more like a ghost town, but for some reason, stepping foot here gives me a strange sense of familiarity. Suddenly, the system chimed in again. Mission, survival. The residents of the shadow dungeon will not tolerate any weakness in those who seek to claim this land. Survive within the allotted time and prove your worth. Time limit, for hours. Young master, You must survive here for 4 hours. Please remain vigilant at all times. The trial is about to begin. Please prepare yourself, young master. No sooner had the words faded than a monster wielding a giant axe charged at me. I instinctively propped myself up with one hand, and with a swift kick, I launched my foot into the monster's abdomen, sending it sprawling. I saw that it was a green goblin scout. If it's a scout, there are likely other greens nearby. I must eliminate it before reinforcements arrive. Young master, although green goblins are relatively weak monsters, you mustn't underestimate them, Belle warned from beside me. But I could immediately tell that its name wasn't colored, indicating its strength was about equal to mine, or even weaker. Therefore, I didn't hesitate to deliver a swift chop to its neck, then snatched the stone axe from the green goblin's hand and brought it down on its head, instantly killing it. Then I smiled slightly. Just as I suspected, opponents stronger than me have colored names. But the next second, I was surprised to see another green goblin appear on a lamppost ahead, blowing a horn to summon its companions. Damn it, this is bad. This will definitely attract more scouts. Soon, the sound of pattering footsteps came from afar. They arrived faster than I anticipated. There are white-named green goblin axemen, and even yellow-named green goblin sent axes. So, I helplessly pointed at Belle. You're going to help me, right? But Belle immediately rejected my request. This is the young master's trial. The young master can only rely on himself. I am the only son of Shadow Monarch Cheng Xiaoyu, and I perfectly inherited his shadow talent, burdened with the mission of resisting extraterrestrial invasions on Earth. Yet I was assessed as the worst kind of level 1 awakened. Not only was I unqualified to join a hunter's raid team, but I couldn't even enter the shadow dungeon, let alone take on the daunting task of protecting Earth. I was speechless upon hearing Belle's reply just now, and it seemed like I could only rely on myself now. Let's try that one first. I directly slammed the axe into the monster's head. The skills displayed on the stat window seemed to be manipulated by an invisible hand. There's no need to consume mana, and it can influence things without even touching them. In a split second, I caught the flying arrow that was shot at me. I did not expect that there would even be green goblin archers. But this is exactly what I want, so it is possible to use their way to return it to their body. I shot an arrow into the head of the green goblin archer, and even Belle exclaimed, "Young master's adaptability is incredible." In the young master's childhood, he was like a hero in mythology, extraordinary from the day he was born. And he perfectly inherited the monarch's dominion authority, and even skillfully commanded it. But that is a power used to destroy everything, and it will only create trouble in a peaceful world. But now Earth is being invaded by the Eidolon, and the power of the young master is finally useful. At the same time, my level was also raised, and I did not expect that the power of the ruler could lift up to 10 kilograms of items. But at this moment, a green goblin suddenly attacked me from behind, to which I could not react at all, and the green goblin that succeeded in the attack was very proud, and giggled and laughed, hurting me, and I turned around and smashed a punch on his face, hitting Belle anxiously, and said, "Master, are you okay?" But I just bent down and pulled out the axe on my body. Then a burst of thick, killing intent erupted from his body. The green goblin centurion was shocked on the spot. But at this time, I was already full of fighting spirit, and I could not control the pain on my body, and rushed towards the green goblin group with an axe. And with a snap, the leading green goblin was directly killed on the spot. Palm, it feels better to be alive than to be powerless, so you demons all have to die. After a burst of fighting, the system prompts with a nail. The skill of resistance has been mastered, and the level has also been raised quickly, and the ground is already full of green goblin corpses. And I sat wheezing on an abandoned car, and also completed the task within the specified time. Belle patted me on the side. "Young master, you are really great." Belle knew that. The young master will definitely be able to complete this event. This guy really doesn't help if he says he doesn't help. Let's ignore him for now. Let's take a look at the task rewards first. Congratulations on getting the shadow of Mudstone extraction. Seeing this, I quickly looked at Belle and asked, "As Mudstone, can I use as Mudstone to get the skill of extracting shadows?" "Yes, young master. But then again, there is also a skill called resistance during the battle. It seems that there is not only an upgrade system when waking up. It also has more skills, similar to when he was an unawakened. Now the whole person is like stacking full of buffs, and after upgrading, the wounds on his body are also healed. Bell reminded me on the side, is this upgrade system used by the king in the past to change labor? It is a device to assist the young master to stabilize his growth. I thought I was an ordinary unawakened person. Now I know that I am actually the strongest shadow second generation. Bell continued to explain on the side. Extracting shadows is the skill of turning corpses into soldiers, which is also the skill of achieving today's shadow monarch, which is also the essence of inheriting Xiao Yuju's army. Wenyan looked at me with a puzzled look, similar to a necromancer. But if you want to control the corpse, you must first hunt the beast. That is to say, you can only control the beast that is weaker than me. I have heard that summoning skills are not popular in the hunter world, but now I can't control too many. I launched the shadow extraction skill against a green goblin corpse, but it takes a while to set a password for the skill, which is really troublesome. After thinking for a moment, Bell on the side. I couldn't help but remind you, young master, the password is of course as intuitive as possible. Speaking of Bell, the whole person began to get nervous, and I had already thought about the password. Then I waved my big hand forward, stand up, as my voice fell, the green goblin corpse on the ground. The body began to move with a swoosh. In the blink of an eye, a few level 1 shadow green goblins appeared in front of me. I was stunned. Is this the shadow extraction? But I feel like it. There is nothing special about it. Bell hurriedly explained beside him that the soldiers who have just been extracted from the shadows will be weaker than before they were alive. Their bodies will become smaller, and it is also written on it that they will expire in 1 day. Bell was very puzzled by this. How could this be? Young master, don't you have the skill to preserve shadows? Speaking of this, Bell began to slump. Maybe the shadow is fully influenced by intelligence points and levels, but overall it will be a very good skill to use. Really, young master. I quickly comforted him when I saw it. I know, don't be depressed either, Bell. And then I suddenly reacted. It seems that I haven't eaten for 2 days. Let's leave here to eat something first. I didn't expect the food in the hospital. It's so delicious, but Bell coughed a few times suddenly at this time. Master, Bell will tell you what to do next. First of all, we have 3 tasks. First, to protect the Earth from the invasion of alien universe monsters. Then you have to hunt more monsters to improve the level, so that the young master will become stronger. The second is to find the missing madam as soon as possible, and the clues can only be found from those alien universe monsters. The third task is the most important, that is to help Bell recover his strength. I don't want to be a soldier, I want the young master to see me as a leader's strength. I get the opponent's magic power and part of my intelligence by shooting it. Although this is the least efficient method used before becoming a shadow soldier, the monarch cannot input magic power to me now, so I can only choose this way. As long as you eat things with magic power, you can look at Bell awkwardly with Wenyan. That's all. So we still have to go to the dungeon, right? Then let's prepare first. But Bell signaled that the young master should not worry. To enter the dungeon, you must have a hunter qualification. Young master, go to the Hunter Association to measure your magic power first. Wenyan pondered for a moment. I am an awakened who can upgrade, and I don't know what level will come out. What if I measure out as great? But after the test, the magic value is only 46, and it is only a level 1 awakened. At this time, I am incomparably depressed. Jianzhuang Bell quickly comforted him. As far as I know, the level of the hunter is divided according to the magic system. The young master's improvement is mainly the power element, so the level measured is much lower than your strength. Therefore, young master, you don't need to be sad. That's what I said, but no matter what kind of shadow it is, can I protect the Earth with a mere level 1? And it is difficult for a first-level hunter to enter the attack team. It is now a problem for me to even enter the dungeon, and at this time I suddenly thought of another way. Just summoning a few small monsters casually overturned the teacher's perception on the spot. It was because in his eyes I was only a first-level awakener, and the amount of impact could only summon a small monster. But I summoned 3 of them with ease. In this way, even a ground-level monster can be easily summoned. Just now, because there is a clear division of labor in conquering the dungeon. The attack team is responsible for conquering the dungeon. The recovery team is responsible for recovering the corpses of the monsters behind them. And then the mining team is responsible for mining the resources of the dungeon at the end. And the recovery team and the mining team accept first-level hunters. That is to say, Even if the young master is a first-level hunter, he can still enter the dungeon, and soon I entered the mining team, and the person who introduced me was the former assistant teacher Lin Taojun. But just as I was working hard, when he was in full swing, Lin Taojun suddenly aimed an arrow at me. I'm really sorry for you during the events of each term. At that time, I was the only awakened person present, but I chose to run away because I was afraid. In the current situation, I just said awkwardly, "It's okay, Teacher Lin. Aren't you also a first-level awakener? And you are just acting according to the rules, aren't you?" Awakened people like us can only run for their lives when they see monsters. Hearing that I am level 1, Lin Taojun questioned on the spot, "You said you are also level 1. This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible," because Lin Taojun. Before I saw my fight with the monsters, did I see it wrong? It is already amazing to be able to fight monsters and save lives. But at this time, Bell suddenly jumped out. "You are right. The young master is very powerful." Seeing Bell, Lin Taojun was stunned for a few seconds first, and after he reacted, he collapsed directly on the ground. Monsters? How can there be monsters here? The atmosphere on the field was very embarrassing at this time. "How did you come out suddenly?" Wan Yin Bell explained. "The young master is now as weak as an ant larva. I must follow you at all times to feel at ease." Lin Taojun thought that I was awakened by a summoning hunter. "You are really lucky. I forgot to tell you that my skill is running." I didn't think much and just followed up with a sentence, "No wonder you run so fast." Lin Taojun, who heard these words, committed suicide on the spot. He is worthy of being the young master, and every sentence is killing people's hearts. But then again, this is the first time I have come to a dungeon other than the Shadow Dungeon, and the attack team should be hunting monsters in front of me. This dungeon is really empty and washed, and so far I have only found some wolf monsters, and the wolf skin is not worth any money, and there will occasionally be magic crystals and some corpses, so I can only bite the bullet and do it. But don't be too disappointed. Maybe there will be surprises later. While talking, the team members found something. "Captain, come and take a look. This is obviously an ancient ruin, to which everyone is very suspicious, or go out and ask for support first. But the strange thing is that no trace of any monsters has been found. But why is there such a building? Maybe there will be some treasures here." Just said that he found a giant sword inserted in the middle. No, I didn't expect there to be a treasure. And it's still a weapon. It's really too powerful. Although it has not been identified, it looks like a weapon with a lot of origin. You all let me try it. Speaking of which, he stepped forward and grabbed the big sword. But at the moment he grabbed it, his expression suddenly became twisted. What is going on? Little did he know that in the moment he was thinking, countless yellow eyes suddenly opened in the dark, but he soon pulled out the big sword, and the sword made the teammates next to him breathe a sigh of relief. It seemed that there was no trap. But whoever thought that Wang Yongjun suddenly became noisy, and without saying a word, he cut off his teammate's neck with a sword, and the teammates on the scene were dumbfounded. But a heavy voice suddenly came out of Wang Yongjun's throat. "Who dares to take away King Jian Yu's sword without permission? Then your ending is only a dead end." At the same time, on the mining team's side, what is this? Lin Huntao looked at the scene in front of him stupidly, and did not expect that the summoned beast would have the skill of mining. And summoned beasts can generally only summon 1 or 2, but this guy actually summoned 3. Plus the talking ghost is 4. Chung Xiuhao's strength is a bit extraordinary. It is by no means as simple as it looks on the surface. And at this time I also realized that the disadvantage is that there is an upper limit of only 3, and if you want to use the shadow extraction, you have to have a corpse, but at present, it is good to let them do some physical work. Bell is right. Extracting shadows is indeed a good skill, and Bell, who heard this, didn't believe it at all. You're a bit too talented to use it. By the way, didn't you come to the dungeon to upgrade? But the Hunter Association stipulates that first-level hunters are not allowed to enter the dungeon alone. After staying here for a while, test it again and choose to enter. Do you remember the third task, Bell? That can also be done here. At this time, Bell also reacted. Are you talking about helping me recover my strength? Yeah. Didn't you say that you can recover by eating magical things? Isn't there also magic power in the magic stone debris on the ground? You can't help with mining or anyway, so you can just pick up magic stones quietly. But at this time, Bell's eyes suddenly widened. Young master, I just felt the king's aura. When Yan's heart suddenly calmed down. King, Are you talking about my old man? But it was immediately rejected by Bell. No, there is more than meaning to the existence of the king level. If it were our king, I would recover my strength in an instant. At the same time, an anomaly was also found ahead. This beast's breath is so strong. Look what's in front. Looking up, it's actually a few pairs of red eyes. Oh no, there are monsters. Why are there so many monsters suddenly appearing here? Suddenly the crowd panicked, and seeing that everyone was about to lose their lives to the monsters, fortunately, I came in time. You guys run away quickly. Leave it to me here. After everyone left, I activated the skill to investigate. Judging from the color of the name, it is orange. That is to say, it is similar to the Earth-level mysterious flame hand that I fought against at the Academy, and I should be able to handle it myself. But the premise is that it cannot be discovered by others. But at this time, Lin Taojun suddenly appeared. Xiaohao, this time I will not run away alone again. I want to stay and fight with you. Wang Yin turned around and glanced at him. Then help me when I am in danger. Then let the green goblin go to protect him. And then open the system props bar. The weapons collected in the shadow dungeon will at least be stronger than the Hong Kong head. Then, with a sudden kick, he shattered the ground, and a newsstand attacked the monster group at the news agency. An arrow was directly stabbed into the mouth of the Steel Fong werewolf, and he was killed directly on the spot. Lin Taojun, who saw this scene in anger, was stunned on the spot, and the Green Goblin three brothers watched stupidly on the side excitedly. At this time, I slowly said 3 words, stand up. At the same time as I activated the skill, 2 more Steel Fong werewolves rushed over. Jian made Lin Taojun on the side to remind Xiaoqing, but I had already discovered the Steel Fong werewolves. With a strange movement, I slashed an arrow directly into the werewolf's mouth, and at the same time, the shadow extraction skill has been activated, and the awakened shadow tore at the werewolf, and Bell was very happy to see this in anger. Young Master is amazing. He has mastered the combat method of using shadow omnipotence so quickly. Wang Yin slowly explained that extraction and summoning do not consume mana, and the upper limit of extraction will increase after the mana is improved, and maybe it will be possible to form an army at that time. If that's the case, then add another one. With a stand-up, a cloud of black and blue mist slowly formed in front of Lin Taojun, but the goblin felt very depressed after seeing this scene, and could only make a whimper sound in his mouth. Whimper, is the master going to abandon us? Then again and again, stand up, more shadow werewolves appeared out of thin air, and at this time Lin Taojun had already been shocked by the scene in front of him. Come down. Cheng Xiaohao. You look, this is not the physical fitness that your level 1 should have, and you also have the skill to summon monster corpses. Seeing this scene, I was also very embarrassed. I was too excited just now. How should I explain it next? That, I am indeed level 1. This is Lin Taojun's questioning with doubt. Xiaohao, you wouldn't be a cheater who deliberately hid your level, would you? But at this time, the system suddenly rang a ding, notifying you that you have a new task, and there are existences around you who hold murderous intentions towards you. Please kill the other party as soon as possible to ensure safety. After killing hundreds of millions of enemies, there is actually a task to kill enemies, and all the werewolves that can be seen have been killed by me. Or, is the big sword used by Jianya Junwang to inform Wan Jiesher, but in the past 500 years, few people have dared to touch it. It was only because the people who had touched this sword before either became zombies like monsters, or were devoured by the evil energy in it, and I just glanced at it inadvertently, and picked it up without hesitation. It was only because from the first sight of this sword, I felt the power to destroy the world in it, and I was not affected by the evil power in it at all, only because I was the only bloodline of the Shadow Monarch Cheng Xiaoyu. Just now, I immediately realized that there must be other enemies here, and at this time a black shadow suddenly came over, and Jian let Lin Taojun walk over quickly. Are you from the attack team? Great, we are finally saved, but I immediately realized that something was wrong. You wait a minute, it was too late when Lin Huntao found out, because this person's attack had already struck. Fortunately, I reacted in the first time, which avoided the tragedy from happening. What kind of hunter is this? When did it become popular for hunters to turn into monsters? Judging from the color of the name on the head, the redder the color, the more dangerous it is. I have completely seen the power of the red name in the United States Academy. According to reason, I should take Lin Taojun and run away directly now, but I learned from Bell that this guy has the aura of a king on his body, but his strength is far from that of a real king, and I am not this guy's opponent now either. But who am I? The only son of Shadow Monarch Qing Xiaoyu, so I must not back down. The system is an auxiliary device to help me stabilize my growth, so since he gave me such a task, it means that I have a chance of winning. If I want to see my parents sooner, then I must grow up quickly, so I have to defeat the guy in front of me. Even if I have experienced many unbearable trials, I can't choose to escape, because the blood of my father is flowing in my body. Bell reminded on the side that this guy's body is a sword, as long as you chop off his arm and separate him from his host. He can't move. Jin made me quickly control the shadow werewolf to form a siege, and bit the mutated hunter's big sword directly. It turns out that the shadow soldiers are spiritual bodies. As long as you inject magic power, they can be restored again. But after fighting, I found that the shadow werewolf is at a disadvantage. Bell explained on the side, of course, this is because your magic power is still very weak. At this time, the mutated hunter suddenly stopped the attack in his hand, and with your ant-like disease, you also want to use the power of the Shadow Monarch. Wen Yin was also shocked on the spot. Damn it, he can actually talk. But Bell on the side is not happy. Say it again. You dare to say that the bloodline of the Shadow Monarch is an ant-like person? The mutated hunter who heard this said angrily. The bloodline of the Shadow Monarch. I didn't expect to meet you here. The enemy of the Jianya King. Then be prepared to go to hell. Seeing this, I calmly took out a stone axe. In that case, let's touch the bottom first. After saying that, he fought with him directly, worthy of being a red name. This level of confrontation is indeed not a problem, saying that he looked at the weapons scattered around his feet. Then next, I can only win by quantity. Suddenly, countless weapons stabbed at the mutated hunter quickly, and Bell was also dumbfounded on the spot when he saw this scene. This is the talent of a born ruler. However, the weapons of the green goblins can only barely support it, so there is no yellow magic that can be resisted. If you continue to delay, the chances of winning will become more dangerous. And if you want to win, you must kill with one blow. And at this time the mutated hunter continued to open his mouth. Do you want to keep running away like a coward? It seems that the Shadow Monarch is just a coward hiding behind the shadow soldiers. Wen Yin was instantly annoyed. How can he pull his parents in? But even so, I didn't have the courage to get close to him. If I could be stronger, I suddenly remembered what Bell had said before, the reason why my seal was lifted, but my power has not recovered. It turned out that what I was sealed was the power of my youth, and what has been restored now is the ability at that time. But if it can be fully recovered, maybe it can compete with Idolin. But that place is a dream and not reality, and this will be a test of my ability to take on the ability. But it doesn't matter whether the test is successful or not. The physical progress will disappear. To put it simply, this is a game, but the experience of climbing the tower is not without meaning. At this time, I also recalled the feeling and fighting spirit at that time, and clearly remembered the feeling at that time. I mainly used fighting skills on the tower, but now there is no equipment such as metal gloves. And shadow soldiers are a spiritual state, and only enough magic power can be restored again. I almost forgot, Bell can change shape at will, can't he? Then now, I will temporarily use the Shadow Werewolf as my equipment. So the Alliance launched the Shadow Extraction Skill Deformation, which can arbitrarily deform the Shadow Soldiers. Now there is no problem with close combat. After having the blessing of Metal Sleeve equipment, it is obvious that the current battle is no longer behind. Seeing this scene, God, the young master actually turned the Shadow Soldiers into weapons, and the Shadow Monarch, who has already surpassed the level, has reached the realm of controlling all shadows at will. However, the young master has only just learned the new style of shadow omnipotence, but he has realized the next stage, showing his wisdom in the battle and perfectly controlling the talent of the ruler, and can also do the shadow omnipotence alive. The young master can be said to be a child prodigy worthy of the name. After a hard battle, I finally completed the task of killing the enemy. The level was also improved as a result. This awakened person did not die, but was also saved by me, and I also gained a new battle through this battle. Then let me see what the reward for this mission is. Congratulations on getting the reward, such as your Envoy Whirlwind Cut. Active release requires Samurai mana value. When swinging the sword, you can make a whirlwind-like power and can attack multiple enemies at the same time. This skill is the best reward I want, and I seem to have a natural ability to use this skill. Then let's try it with the big sword in front of you. But the consciousness of the Janya Junwang Great Sword was very puzzled. I am not reconciled. I just lost to the bloodline of the Shadow Monarch. But the battle is not over yet. Human greed is endless. Come on. The moment you reach out and pick me up, I will devour your entire body. Obviously, he is just a first-level hunter, but he easily picked up the great sword that only the king can control. With his own strength, he rescued several Earth-level hunters, and even the first major guild in the country threw me a daring look. But I refused on the spot without thinking, only because I was the only bloodline of the Shadow Monarch Cheng Xiaoyu. Just now, but when I came into contact with the big sword suddenly went crazy. Why did he not have any resistance to this person? I obviously inherited the power of the treacherous Yi King, and there are still humans that I cannot dominate. But I didn't know that the big sword still had consciousness, so let's try the power of this sword first. Then a whirlwind was slashed out, although using it once would consume all the mana. But I have to say that this power is quite powerful, and at this time Lin Huntao suddenly woke up. What's wrong with me, Xiaohao? When Yin responded with an embarrassed expression, don't ask. Let's go out and talk about it later. You take care of him outside first. I will go down and see if there are any survivors. Looking at my back, Lin Huntao asked suspiciously, level 1 and still unawakened with summoning skills. He should be the bottom of the bottom, but why is Xiaohao so strong? Well, it doesn't matter, but what's important is that all of these people in front of me were saved by Xiaohao alone. At the same time, I have come to the dungeon again, and after killing a few monsters, my level has also been improved, and there are still a lot of monsters inside, and these experiences cannot be wasted in vain. But what puzzles me very much is, Big Sword, why has your attack power suddenly weakened? Wanyan obviously got angry. I am the weapon of King Jianya. Why should I cooperate with you? The bloodline of the Shadow Monarch? Bell on the side knocked on the sword in anger. You are too despicable. You think you are very strong and look down on our young master. Didn't you also be defeated by our young master? Listening to the conversation between the two, I was speechless, a talking worm and a talking sword. It's really messy enough. But at this time, I suddenly found an anomaly. What's going on here? There seems to be an awakened person inside, but then found that these people are all dead. The big sword on the side snorted coldly. The invaders who set foot in this place only have a dead end, and it is my mission to guard the sanctuary of King Jianya. Hearing this, I grabbed it in my hand, and without saying a word, I inserted it into the ground. You are too noisy. Who knew that in the next second I was surprised to find that I could extract the shadows of these awakened corpses. Bell explained on the side that as long as it is a corpse, no matter what type of life form, your omnipotence can turn them into shadow soldiers. I slowly extended my right hand, not choosing to extract their shadows, but instead picked up the two corpses and walked outside. If awakened ones must continue to fight even after death, isn't that a kind of punishment for them? Bell, you said this place is the king's sanctuary, right? Then what was the deal with that king my dad killed? Could all of this be related to Itarim? Bell slowly explained, Itarim is the Lord's current enemy. The various kings were the Lord's former enemies. You can understand it that way. There are 9 kings in total, and the Lord is just one of them. The young Lord's father, Cheng Xiaoyu, is the king of the dead, the Shadow King. Besides him, there's the Raven Head, the Fang King, the King of Insects, the Plague King, the King of Fairies, the Vajra King, the King of Demons, the 100 Beauty King, the King of Giants, the Great Ancestor King, the King of Blood Blades, the Frost King, the King of Demonic Spirits, the Illusion King, and finally, the King of Light Dragons, the Destruction King. All 9 kings possess unimaginable power, but the other 8 kings died at the Lord's hands, including the owner of the Great Sword, the Fang King. The Great Sword, old wrathful party. If my power hadn't weakened, I would have shattered you into a million pieces. But I just looked at him with disdain because I didn't understand. Dad killed the Fang King to protect Earth, and you killed so many people to protect his sanctuary. Aren't you both just protecting what you cherish and made those choices for that reason? But now, just because of blood ties, you treat me as an enemy. You say protecting this place is your mission, and you consider my dad, who couldn't even defeat the Fang King, as your enemy. Aren't you foolish? Because of invaders from outer space, I can't even see my parents. As long as I can achieve that goal, I don't care who I cooperate with. If Baitarim invades Earth, this place of yours won't be peaceful either, right? If you help me, I can help you protect this place. So, why don't you consider it? Cooperate with the bloodline of the Shadow King. How about it? Shadow and Fong work together against outsiders. Wouldn't that be a win-win for everyone? Meanwhile, over with Lin Huntao, did you hear what happened in the dungeon yesterday? Quickly, tell me all about it, bro. Lin Huntao awkwardly tore off a page. Even if he's a dissident, as long as his strength is recognized, then Xiuhao will have a good opportunity, right? It's also a good opportunity to return a favor to Xiuhao. Soon, this news became a hit online. Level 1 Hunter rescues hunters in dungeon. Level 1 Hunter bravely charges at monster to save people, a heroic deed. Interviews with the rescued survivors. Xuanwu Guild, second management section. Shouldn't we recruit some porters? The recovery team is also clamoring to expand personnel. We need to recruit more level 1 hunters. I sent you a candidate. What do you think? He fought monsters in a ground-level dungeon, allowed the mining team to withdraw, and saved the hunters in his hands from the dungeon. As soon as these words were said, the office was instantly. A level 1 hunter? How is that possible? But Liang Hao just smiled slightly. If we, a large guild like ours, recruit him, there will definitely be a lot of buzz to hype up. Just a mere level 1 hero. I'll contact him immediately. How about it? Has Hunter Cheng Xiuhao replied to you yet? I bet he's ecstatic to receive the invitation. Who would have thought that the assistant would suddenly look dejected? That he refused. What? How is that possible? He rejected our Xuanwu Guild? A level 1 newbie rejected a large guild like ours? What a joke. The assistant explained, he said he doesn't want to join. He probably thought it through and will contact us later. He'll soon realize that it's difficult to establish a foothold in the hunter world without joining a guild. Actually, it's not just the Xuanwu Guild. Many other guilds are inviting me to join, but they're all inviting me to be a recovery worker or a porter. But the strange thing is, why are so many people contacting me? Once I join a guild, it will be detrimental to the system's growth, so there's no need to join. But then again, Greatsword, let's talk about cooperation. But the Greatsword remained unmoved. How can you say something so absurd so easily? But if Shadow can become allies with Fong instead of enemies, that wouldn't be so bad. But I have one condition. He only wanted to kill Jurgo, but I, full of a sense of justice, happened to discover it. My father was a former criminal investigation detective, and my grandfather was an outstanding firefighter. I can't tolerate such despicable behavior from thugs under any circumstances. Today, Cheng Xiaohao vows to eliminate this scourge for the people. Just now, the Greatsword said slowly, take me to another sanctuary of the Fong King. I later learned from Bell that he can find the Fong King's sanctuary no matter how far away it is. But then the Greatsword said, I can sense that the entrance to this sanctuary has disappeared. That is, what you humans call a dungeon out of control. I then understood. Then this sanctuary has become the Shijing dungeon, that is, the uncontrolled teleportation point that is not under anyone's control, the abandoned land occupied by monsters. Before leaving, I first sent this message to my uncle, then packed up and prepared to go to the sanctuary, but I was immediately slammed when I arrived at the destination. This is a bit difficult because this happens to be the Hunter Guild's water source. Trespassing on private areas is illegal, and this Hunter Dog Guild is composed of people who have infiltrated the underworld, so the people inside are very violent. Bell, standing aside, complained, we shouldn't have listened to this defeated opponent. We should rely on the system to become stronger. But the next second, Bell's expression was very puzzled. Young lord, what are you going to do? I smiled slightly. Nothing, just preparing to go in. I have plenty of ways to deal with these surveillance cameras. I gathered strength in my fist, and then smashed the camera with one punch, so that no evidence should be left behind. As soon as I came in, I discovered a large amount of blue mist. Could it be that the Shijing dungeon is all shrouded in this blue mist? Bell quickly explained, this blue mist is the magic power of outer space. Someone forcibly broke the dimensional wall. Cracks were generated in the world, so the sanctuary also entered a dimensional rift and later connected to Earth. The outer space bastards want to spawn giant dinosaurs in the dimension and then send their troops in. The stronger the magic power, the greater the impact of dimensional movement. I smiled slightly. In any case, those powerful guys shouldn't be coming so soon, right? Then we have to hurry up and level up. Seeing the horde of monsters charging over, the great sword began to vibrate violently. It's time to show you my true strength. But I didn't care at all. I won't treat you as a weapon because I've already figured out a battle plan. I ran straight towards the monster hordes. The core is the combat methods used in the newbie tutorial, and then use the Dominator's omnipotent assistance to switch weapons quickly at medium and long range, catching them off guard. With that said, I suddenly waved my hand forward. And the most important point is to use shadow extraction to collect equipment. This is my new battle method. Even Belle was shocked. Young lord, you're too handsome. Seeing this scene, the greatsword couldn't help but praise. Could this be the power of the Shadow King's bloodline? The more opponents there are, the longer the battle lasts, and the stronger he becomes through the undead. Therefore, the battle between the greatsword and Qing Xiuhao is destined to lose. When my intelligence points are increased, the number of shadow soldiers I can control also becomes 5. But at this time, Belle suddenly stepped forward. Compared to the thousands of soldiers of the Great King, it's not worth mentioning. But before he could finish his words, I punched him. Belle, shut up. Under the greatsword's guidance, we soon arrived at our destination. Below is the teleportation platform that previously led to the sanctuary, but there are still people guarding it at midnight. These guys are really working hard. But why are they still here so late? Wouldn't it be better to hunt monsters during the day? But just then, an armored vehicle suddenly drove in. But when I saw the scene in front of me, I was stunned. The people getting out of the car were all non-awakened. Little girl, don't shout. Serve the big guys well tonight. So I asked in a low voice, Belle, what we're seeing now is a kidnapping scene, right? Yes, young lord, but we are now illegally trespassing. To avoid complications, I suggest you don't interfere in this matter. If we are discovered. But before he could finish his words, I disappeared without a trace. Seeing this scene, Belle was also stunned. Young lord, where did this guy run off to? Because my father was a criminal investigation detective and my grandfather was an outstanding firefighter, I completely inherited their habit of taking action when I see injustice under the influence of 2 generations. Therefore, I, Qing Xiuhao, will never sit idly by. As he spoke, he kicked the awakened one in the head. Seeing this scene, the shadow soldiers were also very stunned. Master, this is too fierce. And the hunters of the Hunter Dog Guild were furious. Who are you? How did you get in here? Only then did I react. Oops, I seem to have been a little impulsive just now. Trespassing in other guilds' areas is illegal. What should I do? But I quickly thought of a solution. As he spoke, he put on the mask he conjured. Daring to openly kidnap and extort, the Hunter Dog Guild is too daring. But the Hunter Dog Guild retorted, Boy, I think you're the one who's daring. Not only trespassing in other people's areas, but also daring to attack us. Are you tired of living? With a wave of his hand, the leader, Dabin, said, Brothers, go up and kill him. But my current strength easily dodged their attacks. The members of the Hunter Dog Guild are on average D level. To be safe, it's better to use a little less strength. Soon, several people were knocked down by me on the spot. Even Belle had an unbelievable look on his face. Young lord, you're too strong now. You can easily defeat even D-level awakened. This is too easy to win. Soon, the members of the Hunter Dog Guild were tied together. Seeing this, Belle flattered him nonstop. Young lord, you handled it too cleanly. The rescued people also quickly came forward to thank him. You are a hunter. Thank you for saving us. After sending everyone away, I looked puzzled. Why are the people from the Hunter Dog Guild kidnapping people? The greatsword said that he sensed it, which is why I came here. But when I opened the warehouse door, I was stunned. Is this place used to imprison people? Belle was also taken aback. This faint aura, could it be? It's the most trusted subordinate of the Fang King when he was alive, entrusted with the mission of protecting the king's only bloodline. But now, in order to enhance his strength, he does not hesitate to use the king's bloodline as his tonic. Even in the face of companions who once fought alongside the king, he still shattered them without hesitation. Just now, I looked towards the prison, where a person who was constantly panting was lying inside. I was very puzzled about this. Why did these guys even lock up a dog? What exactly does the Hunter Dog Guild want to do? This is what the greatsword suddenly said in my ear. He's not a dog. This little wolf is the descendant of the Beast King, the Fang King. When the Fang King was defeated by your father, he assigned a guardian to his descendants before he died and told them all to hide in the holy prison because he firmly believed that as long as the bloodline continued, another Fang King would be born again. But to be honest, I don't expect another Fang King to be born. I only hope that his bloodline can continue. and I sensed a faint aura of the Fang King from Little Wolf, but he is very weak now, and if he continues like this, his life will be in danger. How to settle this little guy is a problem at that time. Didn't the people outside just get knocked down by me? Why did I suddenly discover that there were still remnants? But when I opened my eyes and looked carefully, what remnants were these? This is clearly a powerful monster. This is what the Great Sword suddenly said. Brokey, so you're still alive. He's the guardian of Little Wolf I told you about earlier. Brokey responded, long time no see, Great Sword. So you're still alive too. The Great Sword trembled and questioned, Brokey, have you forgotten your mission? Is this how you protect him? Brokey coldly snorted, how could I? With that, he charged towards me, human, how dare you touch my things? As the sword collided with me, I thought to myself that this was not good. This guy was so fast that I couldn't react at all, and huge wolf claws pierced through. Suddenly, a violent explosion rang out in the field, and Jian Zhuang Bell cried out in alarm. Young lord, be careful. After the smoke cleared, I was directly blasted out of the warehouse. Brokey's attack was really too strong. This was the most painful beating I had received recently. Bell, stop shouting. If you shout again, my head will be buzzing. But it was a blessing in disguise that my ability to resist blows was improved, and my defense increased from 20% to 40%. At this time, Bell suddenly reminded me. Young lord, I know. I just discovered a faint aura, and now I can be sure what it is. It's Iterum. He has the aura of Iterum on him. At this time, the Great Sword suddenly stood in front of Brokey. I already know what you are doing to the king's descendants. Brokey said, I know very well, but do you know how I maintain these powers after losing the sanctuary? The Great Sword said, I don't know. The winner is king, and the loser is a bandit. The survival of the weak depends entirely on the mood of the strong. The weak provide nutrients to the strong. This is an unchanging law of nature. Although he is weak now, he is also of the Fang King's bloodline. It can be said that he is my best tonic, so I periodically drink the blood of the king's bloodline. Great Sword, you are dead today. You are a waste who can only exert strength by relying on others. What qualifications do you have to point fingers at me here? The king's death is the best proof that he is the weak. I, who survived, am the real strong one. Only I am qualified to inherit the Fang King's power. As he spoke, he was about to launch an attack on the Great Sword, but at this time, a sword light suddenly flashed, and Little Wolf was also protected by Bell beside him. After a few moves between the sword light and the wolf's teeth, even Brokey was a little stunned. Only then did he realize that it was I who used the Great Sword to block his attack. Then I slowly opened my mouth and said, Brokey, that's enough. The Great Sword also seems angry. Next, let you witness the first cooperation between the Shadow King and the Fang King, Iterum. I have finally found a clue about my dad. Hearing this, Brokey's brain collapsed on the spot. Human worm, you're making me so angry. You're dead today. But at this time, the system sent an emergency mission, kill the hunter dog Brokey to ensure safety. I didn't back down from the powerful Brokey. No wonder it's called the Hunter Dog Guild. But the strange thing is, how can monsters form a guild, and also kidnap people through the guild? Could all of this be related to Iterum? This is what the guild members behind Brokey asked for help. Mr. Brokey, can you untie us first? The guy in front of you is very difficult to deal with. Let us help you. Brokey just glanced back at a few people indifferently, and then opened his mouth without saying a word and bit them on the heads. Suddenly, there was a snapping sound, and several lackeys of the Hunter Dog Guild instantly received their lunchboxes. Seeing this, I was shocked. This guy is so cruel that he even eats his own people. At this time, Brokey slowly continued to say, I need you to help me deal with these small characters. It's better to eat those who can't figure it out. Seeing this, I couldn't stand it anymore, and slashed over with a sword without saying a word, but Brokey grasped the Great Sword with just one hand. But my character did not allow me to kill them at all, but Brokey still looked disdainful. The life and death of the weak are in the hands of the strong. The strong do what they want to do. Do they need any reason? But I can't agree with Brokey's point of view. And then another sword slashed over, but Brokey's speed was too fast, turning into a tree-like clone and shattering my attack. Then Brokey stomped on the ground, and a leopard-like charge attacked me. I wasn't flustered at all, and returned a whirlwind with a single slash, but Brokey just stretched out his wolf claws and easily blocked my attack, even not forgetting to mock me. Worm, is this all you've got? The Fang King's reputation will be ruined in your hands. Little did he know that I took advantage of the moment when he was distracted while speaking, and a sneak attack backstab pierced through his back. Brokey, you underestimate me too much. The battle has just begun. As he spoke, he twisted the sword body and rotated it wildly. At this time, the angry greatsword questioned sharply, Brokey, why did you become like this? The person who once swore to be loyal to the Fong King? Have you forgotten your mission? Brokey suddenly thought of the past. Worship the king? I think you're mistaken. Back then, I was just succumbing to the king's powerful power. I will never live that kind of weak life again. You should worry about yourself. Stinky maggot. At the same time as speaking, he launched a fierce attack on me and directly cut off the greatsword's sword body, and I was therefore fatally injured. It hurts. I feel like all the bones in my body are about to fall apart. But, thinking of dragon horse fighting in a place I can't see, I can't give up even in the face of great difficulties. Thinking of my father, my whole body was instantly filled with strength before seeing my parents. No one can beat me. Speaking, a punch directly froze through Brokey's body. Jian Zhuang Bel Jin Fu Dang. Young lord, but at this moment the great sword instantly realized that the broken sword was about to disappear. The survival of the little wolf and the future of the Fong clan. I didn't expect to hand over to Cheng Xiuhao alone. I still want to continue to fight. But just as the broken sword was about to lose consciousness, the little wolf suddenly came rushing over humping. Seeing this, anger, Bell instantly understood. So it is Oth. He was moved by Cheng Xiuhao's persistent fighting spirit. At this time, the great sword only had a trace of consciousness left. I thought, the last thing I can do is to leave all the remaining power to the descendants of the king without reservation. After the little wolf absorbed the power of the broken sword, towards the sky is sadness, but I still did not have the slightest strength. The whole person called out hoarsely, panting the atmosphere, and used all my strength to stand up again. The blood volume is only 21 points left. I thought I had made a lot of progress, but when I met a powerful demon god like Brokey, I had no chance of winning at all. Can I really not win? Grew up and fell, betraying Little Wolf's traitor. Brokey finally fell, but Little Wolf did not feel happy because of this. His mood was extremely heavy instead, only because he knew very well in his heart. Brokey, he is not a traitor at all, and all this has to be thanked for the apostles of the Iterum. They implanted a strange yellow crystal in Brokey's eyes, which is the main reason for Brokey's psychological distortion. Sorry, King. Brokey is too useless, failed to protect your bloodline, Little Wolf, for you. Just now, but Brokey did not give me a chance to breathe. A burst shot toward me to bite, and this thousands of pounds of hair. The little wolf suddenly flew out and bit Brokey's body. Seeing this anger, I was a face of slamming. What's going on? But when I saw the mark on Brokey's body and the black hole in his wound, only then did I react. So this little guy wanted to help me and kept snarling at Brokey's words. At this time, the system also prompted the descendants of the Fong to pay tribute to the player's fighting spirit. Do you agree to let the descendants of the Fong become partners? The descendants of the Fong, is this guy the little wolf just now? At this time, Brokey also reacted. You are the descendants of the Fong King. You would not have absorbed the magic power of that guy, the Greatsword. Hearing this, I realized, that is to say, the Greatsword sacrificed himself and gave the magic power to the little wolf. Anyway, I had planned to cooperate with the Fong before, so there was no reason to refuse. Congratulations to you. The descendants of the Fong have become your partner. But just as I received the system prompt, it seems that something entered my consciousness. I saw Brokey said to the young little wolf, the Fong King lost. He completely lost to the Shadow King. This is a world where the strong eat the weak. As losers, we will lose a lot. In order for the Fong family to rise again, little guy, you must become stronger. Saying, easily stroking little wolf's forehead, must not live up to your father's expectations of you. Then the unbearable memories continued. I saw Brokey terrified, kneeling in front of several humans. Little wolf then tremblingly followed behind. Brokey asked, who are you? Why not kill me? But the leading woman gently picked up the little wolf. This monster looks quite useful. This level is enough. Then choose him. Saying, took out a yellow golden stone, and slowly towards Brokey's eyes close. Seeing this scene, the little wolf was so anxious that he cried, but he could only watch beside. At this time, the woman continued to say, Hunter dog Brokey, from now on your mission is to capture humans and dedicate them to me. The golden stone that was just implanted in your eyes can strengthen your strength and help, of course. How much to enhance varies from person to person. Seeing this, little wolf tears cannot stop flowing. From this, Brokey blackened. He is sometimes full of that distorted human desire. At this time, I understood Brokey and little wolf's painful experience. To Brokey's eyes implant the golden stone, that gang of bad guys, did they have a direct relationship with Iterum? Or the culprit of this Earth event? It turned out that Little Wolf did not want to revenge Brokey before. His purpose was to stop the out-of-control Brokey. If this is related to those bad guys' plan, then I must defeat Brokey. But with my current strength, I cannot do it at all. But at this time the system came a new mission: Descendants of the King. Please find the descendants of the king, and let them become your partners. Become partners of the king's descendants according to the purpose bar. You, and the descendants of the teeth of the chain of punishment. The next second my body was filled with endless strength. Only listen to the sound of boom. I and the Little Wolf are the place of a violent explosion. The island of Jianzhuang beside the king is different. A strange change occurred on the young master's body. But at this time Brokey suddenly stepped, cracked the ground. Although I do not know what happened between you, but I will never let you succeed. Say directly rushed towards me. Suddenly a series of fierce shock waves suddenly blasted out. But after the smoke cleared, Brokey found that a pair of slender hands on his body, and the hair is snowy white color. It turned out that this is my and Little Wolf because of the chain triggered by the new skill. The chain skill's beast possession. Let the chain of the descendants possessed and strengthen the body will have the developed senses like beasts. Brokey at this time also reacted. Is it the chain of the descendants was absorbed? Then I can't stay you anymore. But now the reaction is extremely fast. Any flash is to avoid Brokey's attack, and can feel the senses are more sensitive, but also can avoid danger in advance. The best moving line and Brokey against each other can also be done with ease, and Brokey also felt the changes on my body. How is this possible? Is this still the little boy just now? I can't lose. If I lose, nothing will be gone. Say Brokey launched a more fierce attack on me, and now I am also able to deal with easily. Bell also found the changes on my body, the young master's magic amplification against the powerless Brokey brain eye. Although I do not know what tricks you play, but I am absolutely impossible to lose to humans, to say you. The decision of strength is the material, so it decided that you are destined to lose. To blame can only blame your low-level humans. Go to die, humble bug. Little did you know in the battle with him, I also realized a new combat skills. Attack can be attached to 33% damage and do not need to consume mana. For Brokey's remarks, even Bell is a face of disdain, dared to mention species differences in front of the young master. Who can be more noble than the bloodline of the Shadow King standing at the peak? Hearing this, Brokey was shocked on the spot. You mean, he is a descendant of the Shadow King, but he still knew too late. Under my full attack, Brokey was directly blasted into the ground on the spot, and my body also began to change. My hair instantly returned to black. Exhausted, I could only pant hoarsely. Little Wolf also became gray and slowly walked towards Brokey. But Brokey's mouth was still murmuring, I want to become stronger. I must become stronger. But with Little Wolf licking on Brokey's head. At once, the golden stone in Brokey's eyes suddenly shattered. Alas, I remembered the reason why I must become strong. At this time, he remembered the instructions of dying before. King, I am too useless. I failed to protect you. But before he finished speaking, he lost action. Little Wolf then cried out towards the sky. The end. Brokey is dead. Little Wolf is next to him, lost his head down, quietly looking at Brokey's body. At this time, I asked Bell aside. Do you remember you said before, from Brokey's body felt the breath of a tower of spirits, right? I saw his memory fragments from Little Wolf before. There are hunters into the underground field where Brokey is, and also embedded some kind of golden stone in his eyes. Do they are the people of a tower of spirits? Then why did they attack Brokey? Bell responded, this should not be a tower of spirits. Foreign gods generally will not personally come forward. They are all involved in the conspiracy through the apostles, but their behavior is definitely related to the invasion of the earth. This shows that a tower of spirits is already on earth. If there can be more clues, it would be good. If the clues of a tower of spirits are broken here, it would not be good. Bell said he does have a way. Brokey must have memories related to a tower of spirits. If I eat his body, I can see his previous memories and can also restore my magic power. Isn't this killing two birds with one stone? Hearing this, I was standing in front of me. You actually have this against the sky ability? But when I saw Little Wolf, a face lost. Brokey's death is a big blow to him. At this time, the little guy's mood should be very lost, so I squatted next to him and gestured him, can come with me. I want to take you to a place. Xiaolang thought for a moment, and I waited quietly for his response. Suddenly Xiaolang then licking towards my face, he agreed. So I immediately took out the key to the Shadow Underground on. Bell, then next please you. We were originally the only bloodline of two opposing kings, now became close allies. But I even put this tooth and claw guy as a non-human, but as a machine to help me kill monsters training fast, only because this guy was not originally human, until the exhaustion was lying on the ground motionless for. Stop, even Belle on the side cannot bear to look down. Little Gray is not an inexhaustible physical shadow, soldiers, but the future to assist you side by side with the battle of friends. But Belle does not know that. I have already signed a contract with Little Gray relationship. When he hunts monsters, I will also get half the experience. Only in this way can we improve Little Gray's strength as soon as possible. In the future, there is an opportunity to regain the reputation of the Fong family. Just now, then we once again entered the Shadow Underground on. Belle wondered why not go home. Then I smiled slightly. I want to arrange a residence for the little guy here. Anyway, has joined forces with the Fong. At this time, the system suddenly prompted. It turned out that Little Wolf wanted me to take a name for him. I did not hesitate to, according to the hair, to give him the name Little Gray. Belle then muttered on the side. Sure enough, the naming level with the king is similar. Hearing Little Gray's name, Little Wolf immediately roaring a sound. Partner relationship, trust, respect. From now on, this forest is your territory of Little Gray. And I also became the master of Little Gray. I do not know Little Gray what kind of food is usually. He is the bloodline of the Fong, so it is very likely to eat life body or monsters. That's really great. There are still a lot of monsters that have not had time to deal with here. Just can be handed over to Little Gray to deal with. Hearing the monsters, Little Gray immediately excited to roar a sound, without saying a word on the green giant troll bite. And on the spot to bite off his throat. Did not expect Little Gray's action so clean and neat. Then well, let Little Gray enjoy the full play. And also inexplicably completed a wolf slayer's mission. Huluoji is not a hunting dog. But Belle amnesia, I do not want to tangle these. The important thing is to find the mission of the descendants of the king. The king system does not have such a mission. I heard that Wei Xiaozu prepared the upgrade system, is the system that has been improved by the king, eliminating the original evil in the system. At that time, the system's goal was to force the king's personal growth, let him become the Shadow King's puppet. It contains the designer's plot. Once this goal is achieved, the souls of Qin Shao and the king will disappear. But the king with his own power violated the system's goal, also let himself become the Shadow King, without the need to upgrade the great existence. I could not help but wonder, then my system's goal is also to let me become the Shadow King? Delvin said no. There is only one Shadow Monarch in the world, and the system will guide the young master's growth. If a new function appears, it will definitely help the young master. Hearing this, I immediately opened my status window. After hearing Belle say this, I seem to understand why my class is still evil. It must have been level 1 when I was chased by the Mystic Flame Beast. Now the values have grown a lot, and I have so many skills I can use, but I'm still weak. Like this time, if I hadn't developed a bond skill with Little Gray, I probably wouldn't have been able to defeat Brokey. Forget it, let's complete the mission first. Maybe I can see my parents after completing the mission. Oh right, Belle, didn't you find a clue about the Atharlan in Brokey's memory? Belle said that he also saw that memory. The Atharlan who brainwashed Brokey had nothing to do with us. Speaking of this, Belle paused, but then, I saw someone create the Hound Guild for Brokey to retrieve the memories of the kidnapped people. That guild's name is Grim Reaper. If we investigate this guild carefully, we will definitely find more clues about the Atharlan. Lindsay Gue, what do you want from me? Didn't you go to Southeast Asia for support? Don't change the subject with me, Li Wenqing. This Hound incident was your doing, right? Your money transactions with the Hound Guild have already been traced. The association will hold you responsible sooner or later. Even if the law can't punish you, the president of the association is not a vegetarian. You'd better clean up the mess before I come back. After saying that, I hung up the phone. He used to be just my driver, but now he's become arrogant after becoming S-rank. Thinking of this, I smashed the coffee table. Defeat Brokey and destroy the Hound Guild. The survivors only provided pitiful information, just saying that it was a young hunter wearing a black mask. There's no need to waste time on someone we can't find. The most important thing now is this, he said, taking out a silver bead. The Hunter's Awakening is exciting. As long as this project is successful, no one will look down on me. Meanwhile, Little Gray is hunting monsters. Belle reminded him that his current combat power is good. He needs to work harder to improve himself in the future, so that he can assist the young master. But then he was surprised to find that Little Gray's cry had become Little Red's, but fortunately, he adapted well. and her experience points can be transferred to me. Although it's only half the experience, it's still good for me. I didn't expect the system to have this kind of function, but it seems different from how my father gained experience points. It's like a party mechanism for sharing experience in a game. Anyway, let Little Gray continue to hunt monsters. Then I opened the status window again. After hunting a certain number of monsters, a new mission was triggered. It turned out to be a daily mission to clear the monsters in the Shadow Dungeon. I hate this broken mission that actually asked me to catch green goblins. But for daily missions, do you get rewards every day? Bell said that the system has completely turned this place into the young master's domain, making him look for 100 green goblins in such a large place. This reminded me of the backpack I was carrying. There happened to be a horn used by the centurion to summon his subordinates. This is an item obtained from catching demons last time. After using it, you can summon nearby green goblins. Soon, the footsteps of several green goblins could be heard, and they rushed towards me immediately. Seeing this, I just smiled slightly. As expected, I should stretch my muscles too. So I gathered my strength in my right hand and shot towards the green goblin group without saying a word. With just one blow, dozens of green goblins were killed instantly. Now green goblins are no longer a challenge for me, but if I want to catch a large number of green goblins, I can only continue to use the horn. Looking at the green goblin corpses all over the floor, I waved my hand and stood up. With Little Gray's help, the task of clearing the Shadow Dungeon was quickly completed, and Little Gray was so tired that he lay down on the ground gasping for air. But I always felt that something was strange about the task statistics. It clearly met the conditions, but it was still continuing to count. Could it be that? If the task data is still being counted, it means there are other hidden missions. Let's take this opportunity to see how many it will count. Soon the system sent a new mission. Little Gray, who was at the scene of the spike, also forced it on the spot. Is it over yet? After some hunting, I finally got the rewards. The first reward is to restore status. The second is to add 3 ability points. The third is a blessing random box, and the fourth is a curse random box. So I opened the restore status without hesitation. This reward should be saved for when I'm injured. It might be a good move. Then I accepted the second reward. The higher the level, the harder it is to get points. Daily missions can make me stronger every day. But the next reward is a choice between 2. Please choose one from the random box. Seeing this, I pondered for a moment. The items I want may not be what I need, and the items I need may also be what I don't want. The range of items I want is too large. Now I need too many things. Fire God's feet. It turned out to be a pair of gloves. Metal gloves made from the feet of the greedy demon Tinder, containing the omnipotence of the fire god, can increase attack power, and the desire for destruction adds 30% physical damage. The more souls devoured by the demon predator, the stronger the fire god's omnipotence. I can't always use shadow soldiers as weapons. These gloves are just right for me. And with an additional 30% physical damage, the more demons I hunt, the higher the value may be. The gloves are a little heavy to wear. It seems that the ability points have to be added to strength. Then I can hunt demons to upgrade weapons. But then the status of my partner changed. Little Gray's trust changed from respect to fear. Bell on the side quickly explained that Little Gray is not an inexhaustible shadow soldier. Let him rest for a day. I said you were right, and then walked out of the Shadow Dungeon. The guild associated with the Hound Guild is called the Grim Reaper Guild. I just took advantage of this time to investigate it. Just as I was thinking about where to start, a distress message from the assistant teacher suddenly came from my phone. Xiaohao, please come and help me. It turned out that he was going to the dungeon today, but all the recovery workers lost contact. He had no choice but to ask me to come over. Then he handed me the work clothes because the recovery workers are more dangerous than the miners. The miners only need to mine safely at the end of the dungeon after the hunt is over, but the recovery workers have to recover the monsters hunted by the attack team, so they have to follow closely behind the attack team. So they have to be prepared to be attacked by monsters at any time. And it is possible to be injured by thorns or silver pieces on the monster's corpse, so you must wear protective clothing. At this moment, the attack team came over and questioned what was going on. Why are there only 2 of you in the recovery team? Lin Taojun awkwardly said, I'm sorry. We were supposed to come, but the other recovery workers lost contact. The attack team leader said that you were too irresponsible. Do you know how much money the Grim Reaper Guild has been given just for the admission tickets? If you delay our monster hunting, I will officially report you to the association so that you can never be recovery workers again. Seeing this, Lin Huntao immediately whispered, "Xiao Hao, use your summoning technique to give them some color." Seeing this, I first checked the levels of several people. For D-rank magic hunters, 5 D-rank combat hunters, and 1 C-rank healer. The man who spoke just now seemed to be the healer. He is also the captain of the attack team. According to the cursed random box I got in the demon hunting weapon Fire God's feet, and I just received Lin Taojuan's request. The place I came to is still the city-type dungeon owned by the Grim Reaper Guild. If all of this is not a coincidence, then it can be said with certainty that something dangerous will happen here at any time. There are only 2 members in the corpse recovery team, but there are 10 members in the attack team. As a result, the angry attack team captain gave up his harsh words on the spot and threatened that he would definitely not let me off if I delayed efficiency. But in the next second, the attack team captain was stunned. Without saying a word, he grabbed my hand and promised to hire me with a high salary as the exclusive recovery worker for their attack team. But I refused on the spot without even thinking about it. Just now, after entering the dungeon, everyone lit torches and found several lizard monsters in front of them, staring at everyone. The attack team leader quickly reminded that there are too few people in the recovery team. You have to follow us and move quickly. The reason why demon-type monsters appear here is because the cursed random box gave me the Fire God's feat. But I can learn the hunter team's combat style. Take this opportunity to learn more about how hunters cooperate in combat. After completing the daily tasks, I have a lot of Green Goblin Centurion and Centurion corpses. After the intelligence points are increased, the number of shadow soldiers that can be controlled becomes 7 demons. The attack team has almost killed the monsters over there. So the captain suggested to take a break first, but he thought that he was slowed down by the recovery team today. He was about to turn around to urge the progress when he was surprised to see it in the next second. Opened his eyes. What's going on? Why are there so many summon beasts? Did you summon these with your summoning technique? It's incredible, he said, grabbing my hand. I sincerely invite you to be the exclusive recovery worker for our attack team. But I refused without thinking, but the captain still didn't want to give up and offered to pay the highest annual salary in the industry. But at this moment, Lin Taojun reported that we found the bodies of ordinary humans. Judging from their clothes and accessories, they should be famous brands. But what's puzzling is that I haven't heard of any fire-breathing monsters here. But I reacted immediately. This should be the Mystic Flame Beast, the kind of mysterious flame beast that appeared in the Academy of Fine Arts. And there's more than one. Others have found many flame beasts one after another. So I quickly suggested to Captain Sun, let's report to the Hunter Association first. Captain Sun also thought that something was very strange. Judging from their attire, they looked like ordinary people, not hunters. Their team members are also DC-level awakened ones, so there shouldn't be any problems. Let's move on. Sure enough, as I expected, they still wanted to move forward in this situation, so I quickly signaled everyone to wait. The Mystic Flame Beast is far more dangerous than imagined, but it was immediately instructed by Captain Sun. I'm the captain. The decision-making power lies with me. You can just follow us after you finish cleaning up here. I had no choice but to signal the Lin Taojuan's team to run away as soon as they encountered the Mystic Flame Beast, because I had a faint feeling in my heart. If I go further inside, something dangerous might happen. On the other side at the same time, a large number of ordinary people are suffering from the punishment of the blue flame. The firepower is not enough. Second brother, how is the firewood supply problem solved? I heard that there was a problem with the supplier, so the supply is not very stable. It seems that we have to ask that person to formulate a new supply plan. It happened that there was a problem with the hounds who provided us with firewood. If this continues, the output of Stardust may be higher than other factories. But he stopped halfway through his words. No, there is power above. Could it be that a hunter is coming? It just so happens that we can solve our urgent need. Come on, brothers, the sacrifices are here. Summon the children inside. Remember, third child, you must capture them alive, you know? Meanwhile, looking at the attack team, the harvest today is really good. It was the right decision to continue hunting. The recovery source was also very powerful today. Should we use something we have been reluctant to use? He said, taking out a spherical object from his pocket. Have you heard of Stardust? Isn't that the magic enhancer that hunters are after? I heard it's hard to buy. I didn't expect you to hide it privately. Although it only lasts for a week, I heard that if people with low levels use it, it can even raise their level by 1 level. After eating it, I will have C level or above magic power. Unbeknownst to him, He had been targeted by the group of monsters before. Without responding, the monster attacked Captain Sun's head. And Captain Sun hadn't noticed yet. Suddenly, with a swiping sound, the monster held a knife against Captain Sun's neck and immediately sprayed a mouthful of black blood. The stardust in his hand suddenly fell to the ground. The attacking team member next to him exclaimed, "Captain, are you okay?" But the monster preempted him and said, "Don't worry, the back of the knife won't kill you." Captain Wen breathed a sigh of relief. A talking monster must be an enemy. "Everyone, don't let your guard down." But as soon as he finished speaking, he was hit hard by the monster again. Then the monster counted with the tip of his knife, a total of 10 people. It seems a bit difficult to deal with. He took out a piece of stardust from his body and said, "Hunters with strong strength will be killed without mercy." The attacking team members were stunned on the spot. How is this possible? Monsters can also eat stardust. But the monster swallowed it without saying a word. Correct answer. Captain Sun made a decision immediately. He had to kill him before the effect of the medicine took effect. After saying that, he launched an attack on the monster. But after just one round, several weaker team members were beaten to the point where they had no power to fight back. Then a yellow flame appeared. The other attacking team members screamed. "What's going on? It's a flame. I can't see anything. Help, it's a monster." But with a few clicks of the blade, the strong ones were instantly killed, and the monster slowly spit out a few words from its mouth. "We have firewood." At this time, the system also sent me a new mission, to rescue the survivors. There are humans nearby who have been captured by demons. Please rescue as many as possible. The rewards will vary depending on the number of people rescued. Current number of survivors, 7. Number of survivors rescued, 0. After seeing the task, I immediately gasped. There are actually demons here. My full physical hound broke, and I finally joined forces. Just as I tried the conspiracy of the 3 demon brothers. They also discovered my identity, so they must kill me in the cradle. But just as I joined forces with Brokey to fight fiercely with the 3 demon brothers, a strange female figure suddenly appeared in the distance. Although just now, I learned from the task window popped up by the system that there seemed to be demons kidnapping humans nearby. The task required rescuing as many hostages as possible, and the rewards would be higher. And these people were about to be in danger. So the Alliance reminded Lin Taojun, "You should leave the dungeon quickly. Something must have happened to the attack team ahead. The green goblins will lead you to the entrance." But Lin Taojun was very puzzled. He pondered for a moment and made the decision to leave. Anyway, he felt that staying here would only be a hindrance. I said, "Brother, don't ask so many questions. After you go out, immediately ask the Hunter Association for support." Then I summoned Little Gray and evolved into a mutated form immediately. We have to act quickly, saying that we slammed the ground with one foot and rushed towards the attack team without saying a word. Then look at the attack team's side again. The ground is covered with bloodstains left by the team members, and there are also several corpses of dead attack team members. But for this group of demons, human corpses are just their firewood, and they will soon be able to open the portal to summon demons. As a victory memorial, you should clean up the firewood quickly. But the third monster kept muttering about unfairness. But then again, fortunately, we have firewood. Brother, this way stardust can be mass-produced smoothly. An awakening agent made from the ancestral blood poison of demons. Although it can enhance magic power, it still has side effects and consumes the user's life force. It was originally used to burn the magic stone stained with demon blood with hellfire, but now the hellfire is replaced with the flame that burns the mystic flame beast, and the side effects can be improved. This is thanks to the apostles who told us the production method. The souls of polluted living beings. It turned them into monsters that lost their minds, and it was also the era when the apostles came to this world. Because of them, low-level demons like us have the opportunity to become stronger. But at this moment, the demons keenly discovered that there was a rapidly moving target moving towards here. Could it be that there are still hunters who haven't been caught? The third child was very sure that there were absolutely none, only possibly new hunters. The demons were ready to fight when I arrived, and I rushed over as soon as possible. Then stared at the creatures in front of him. They should be the demons that attacked the attack team. But seeing the scene behind, my heart skipped a beat. Tying up several mystic flame beasts and burning them together, are they going to hold some special ritual? Then I learned from the system prompt that there are currently 7 survivors, and fortunately, they are not in danger for the time being. But the demons didn't give me time to react. One of the demons stabbed at me, and after missing a hit, the demon glared at me fiercely. Seeing that, I quickly asked, "Did you kill the hunters outside?" Seeing that the demon didn't answer, I punched the third demon. The two demons next to him said it was not good. He was able to avoid the attack of the awakened third child who ate Stardust. It seems that we have to join too. After taking Stardust, he bit him fiercely. But I didn't care about that at the moment. No matter how many demons there were, I just punched them. And the demons were not to be outdone. They swung their fists like sandbags and greeted me. Seeing this, I quickly dodged sideways and backwards and landed steadily in a perfect posture. But the demon's attack stopped instantly. I immediately realized that something was wrong, but it was too late when I wanted to dodge. The demon's sneak attack hit me directly behind, and the other demons attacked me at the same time, and sprayed a stream of energy from his head and shot it at me. In desperation, I struggled to shout those 3 words, "Stand up." As soon as the words fell, several shadow demons stood in front of me and grabbed the demon's attacking arm tightly. The demon was stunned when he saw this. Could this be? Then he asked his elder brother again, "Brother, is that?" And the elder brother gave him an affirmative answer. Yes, it's the same as what we saw on the day the demons perished. That is, the omnipotence of the Shadow Monarch seems to be the same, but compared to the real Shadow Monarch, he is simply too weak. As long as he is not the real Shadow Monarch, we have nothing to be afraid of. And I also had my own analysis at this time. Although they are all weaker than Brokey, if the 3 demons join forces, my chances of winning are very small. Just relying on the endless stream of green goblins is just a waste of magic power. It seems that I have to use that method. It turned out that after killing Brokey, I asked Bell to read the memories in his mind, and the remaining corpses were also preserved. The longer the Shadow Soldier dies, the stronger his power will become. It's just because I saw the last moment of Brokey's life that I had this idea. If it was because he was controlled by the Atharlan and died with regret, maybe I can use Shadow Omnipotence to turn him into a warrior and become my powerful partner in battle. Of course, I also need to ask Little Gray's opinion, and Little Gray closed his eyes and gave me an affirmative answer. "Stand up, Brokey. If you regret it, I will give you another chance to fight for the Fong lineage. If you have this idea, answer me." As soon as the words fell, Brokey had an obvious reaction. Suddenly, I heard him shout, "Brokey." Then the huge shadow of Brokey appeared in front of the demons. He immediately roared at the demons and protected me tightly behind him. The demons were also stunned when they saw Brokey for the first time. How Brokey? Could it be that the guy in front of him was the one who defeated Brokey? The next battle was for me, Little Gray, and Brokey. It was our battle. Then next, let's compete with the demons. But just as the fierce battle with the 3 demon brothers was in full swing, a strange figure suddenly appeared in front of them. That's the only remaining bloodline of the noble demons. But when fighting, he acted like a fool and rushed directly into the enemy's encirclement. This made me, a fellow descendant of the monarch, stunned. Are you sure he's not here to be funny? Just now, my battle with the demons was in a stalemate, and I didn't notice the woman's presence at all. Then I heard a click, and I flicked away the demon Karai's longsword with one grab, and took advantage of the situation to tightly grab his thin dog. Due to the squeeze, the demon coughed violently a few times, but I didn't give him a chance to react at all. This way, I can get rid of the first one. But the next second, a bad premonition suddenly surged in my heart. I dodged the attack immediately. It turned out that it was his demon brother's support. Damn it, this is troublesome now, because these demons are very difficult to deal with once they join forces. And if this continues, sooner or later Little Gray's possession will run out of mana, and Shadow Brokey can only hold back one demon. I have to find a way to separate them temporarily so that I can have a one-on-one duel. But at this moment, the woman behind suddenly made a move and stood between me and the demons. Then she slowly said, "I just want to ask you one thing. Where is my Cheng Xiao and the monarch?" Hearing this, I was stunned. Where did this injured female knight come from? And she even asked for my father by name. Unexpectedly, Belle suddenly said, "Why are you here?" As soon as these words came out, the woman was stunned immediately. This voice is so familiar. "Belle, it's great that you are really Belle." She grabbed Belle in her hand and said, "But why have you become like this? Where is my Cheng Xiao and the monarch? Who is this boy?" The demon beside him couldn't help but think, sacrificial demon summoning. But they seem to know each other. If I help them, it will be troublesome. At this time, the woman's eyes were already narrowed into slits with happiness. "I didn't expect to see you here, Belle. I'm saved. Now I can rest assured." When Yin Belle pointed at the demon and said, "You came at the right time. We'll catch up later." You should deal with these guys first. The demon beside him suddenly made a move. Let's deal with that injured female demon first. Anyway, as long as there is blood, stardust is enough. But at this time, I was also very puzzled. I seem to have seen her somewhere before, and she is currently injured. Can she fight demons? But Belle said disdainfully, those low-level demons are no match for her at all, because her name is Demon Asura. When the monarch wiped out the demon realm, the only demon he spared was. It's her. The nobles are the Rattler family. She is the eldest daughter of that family. Her strength is equivalent to that of a human S-rank hunter. Hearing S-rank, I was shocked. That means I can witness it with my own eyes. S-rank battle. But who would have thought that in just one round, Belle and I were stunned? What's going on? Why have you become so weak? Asura? And I see that your current magic power is also less than before. Asura on the ground responded with difficulty, it's because I have some kind of illness. It turned out that about half a year ago, most of the demons in the demon realm went berserk. Although we tried our best to stop it, our family's strength alone couldn't suppress it. Although I survived under the protection of my family, I was drawn blood and lost my strength when I escaped. Belle, don't just stand there. Hurry up and heal me. Hearing this, the demon was excited. Brothers, did you hear that? This pair of powerless empty shells. I didn't recognize them just now because their power was too weak. Unexpectedly, he is the surviving master of the Rattler family. This is a good opportunity to enhance our strength by taking the blood of the demon nobles. At the same time, I was also thinking about countermeasures. It would be best if I could solve them one by one. Then Belle suddenly suggested, Young master, when I recover my magic power this time, the ability I regained can also be useful. The system prompted, Belle used the skill Cruel command, which can increase Asura's ability value by 50%. But at the same time Asura will also be cursed by madness. After doing all this, Belle said faintly, go and get the useless female demon. As soon as the words fell, Asura immediately let out a roar. She bared her teeth and rushed towards the demon. Seeing this scene, I was also quite shocked. She actually said, "Aww, I feel a little sorry for Asura." Asura charged at the demons. The demon wasn't flustered at all by Asura's attack. He dodged and got behind her. Haha, success. The demon noble's blood is mine. I didn't waste any time either. I shot forward, shattering the ground beneath my feet, and charged towards the other demon. This was a one-on-one duel, so the outcome was without suspense. With just one strike, I split the demon Lao Yao's head open. The system notification chimed. Low-level demon slain. Fire God's feed is devouring the demon's soul. One demon soul devoured. Destructive desire now inflicts 31% additional physical damage. Meanwhile, Asura's fight was getting harder. Lao Er was momentarily distracted by his brother's death, but he was determined to finish Asura. Just then, the system announced, Cruel command target Asura is exhausted. Asura collapsed unconscious, falling right in front of Lao Er. But I had circled behind Lao Er. Before he could react, I killed him instantly. Low-level demon slain. Fire God's feed is devouring the demon's soul. Seeing his brothers die one after another, the demon boss, Lauda, was furious. He looked around the battlefield. Are we outnumbered now? These useless idiots. But don't get too happy yet. I have another plan. He lunged towards Asura. As long as I drink this injured demon's blood, my power will greatly increase. I immediately sensed his move and shot forward, blocking his path. The demon snarled, Human, you dare? I scoffed. Leave one for me to absorb, Brokey. The rest is yours. Brokey didn't hesitate and tore into the remaining demon boss. Asura slowly regained consciousness. Belle, you're too much, she said, but then paused, looking at me. But then again, besides Cheng Xiao and the monarch, there's actually someone else who can use shadow soldiers. Tell me, who is he? Belle paused. You really are disloyal. Haven't you figured it out yet? I'll give you another chance to think. Do you know anyone who might be able to do this? Asura's eyes widened in realization. Could it be? At that moment, Brokey finished off the demon boss. My level jumped to 20, and the system unlocked the shop function. Asura finally understood. No wonder he looks so much like the monarch. He's the young master. The son of Shadow Monarch Cheng Xiao, and the only bloodline of 100 Eyes Monarch Baron. The two should be mortal enemies. Asura knelt before me. Asura greets the young master. Did you just call me young master? I asked, surprised. Yes, young master, she replied. It's been so long, I didn't recognize you at first. You look so much like Cheng Xiao. Asura then fainted. Belle, is she all right? I asked, concerned. She's fine, young master. Just exhausted, Belle reassured me. By now, I had completed the mission to rescue the survivors, all 7 of them safe and sound. The system reward came through, plus 3 ability points and 700 gold coins. But what use were these coins? I quickly opened the system shop. It turned out I could buy items there, with a good selection of potions and other things. This reminded me of when my father used to give me pocket money as a child. Thinking about it now, maybe this was why Dad prepared the system for me. Thanks, Dad, for the allowance. Looking at the unconscious Asher, I bought a low-level healing potion. I wasn't sure if it would work on him, but I had no other choice. It was a last resort. I poured the whole thing down his throat. Thankfully, it had some effect. Asher's complexion quickly improved. Belle, however, complained from the side, "You spent gold coins on a useless demon? Young master, you really are a spendthrift." Regardless, I couldn't leave Asher here, so I had Brokey take him and the bodies to the dungeon. I had more important things to do. The mysterious flame beast, the first time I saw it, engulfed in flames, it looked so pained. "I'm sorry, this is all I can do." Meanwhile, at the Hunter Association, Supervisor Han Gang was puzzled. Strange. The hunter who entered the depths of the Ishii dungeon was found unconscious at the entrance. What could have happened? A subordinate reported to Han Gang that the bodies of a spiked lizard and a mysterious flame beast were found inside the dungeon. Judging by the hunter's wounds, they weren't caused by the beasts. Deep inside, they found a severely damaged, blade-like underground chamber, suggesting the presence of something other than monsters. As Lin Taojun was leaving, he was called back. "You're the reporter, Lin Taojun, right? I see there's someone named Cheng Xiuhao in the retrieval team. Do you know him? Where's Cheng Xiuhao now?" Lin Taojun hesitated for a moment. "After we came out, I took him to a safe place." Han Gang was suspicious but didn't press further. "You did well. According to hunter regulations, you did what a hunter should do." He then yelled to his subordinate, "Check again for any other clues." Lin Taojun knew in his heart that the one who rescued the survivors must have been Xiuhao. Although he didn't understand why Xiuhao concealed his level, he was certain he wasn't a bad person. He would wait for the day Xiuhao told him himself. At the same time, Asher awoke from his coma. "I didn't expect this to happen. Cheng Xiao and the king left Earth to stop the invasion," Belle explained. "The king sent me to Earth to release the young master's seal, but the young master, being so gifted, easily broke the seal himself." I looked at Asher and asked, "Your name is Asher, right? Haven't we met before?" "Yes, young master. We met in your tutorial. You said you would remember me. Have you forgotten?" I didn't know why, but my memory of that time was very hazy. I racked my brains for a long time. "Let's make this quick." "Wait, hold on, young master. I remember now. You were the one who surrendered as soon as we met, right?" Belle immediately criticized. That was a test for the young master. "How could you be so perfunctory? Let's forget about the past. But why are you so weak now? What happened in the demon realm?" Asher had no choice but to explain. "Let me explain to the young master. You've probably heard from Belle that the king eliminated the demon king and other demon nobles. Since then, the Rattler family, the strongest in the demon realm, has been waiting in the demon castle for Cheng Xiao and the king's summons. But for decades, the king hasn't summoned us. We've been living in peace. But things started to get uneasy 6 months ago. A magic enhancer called Star Powder began circulating in the demon realm." Star Powder. I heard about it from the dead demon. It doesn't have much effect on high-level demons with strong magic, but after using it on low-level demons, their magic can be enhanced without cost. Star Powder was the trigger. Coupled with the long absence of Cheng Xiao and the king, the demons began to unite against the Rattler family, who were under the protection of the Shadow King. This rebellion gradually escalated into a war. Our Rattler family fought desperately to defend the demon castle the king left us, but we couldn't stop the rebellion. After more than 6 months of war, our Rattler family was finally defeated. But the demons who started the rebellion didn't stop there. They also extracted the blood from our family's gourds. Drinking it grants them even greater power. My father and everyone in the family were sacrificed. I also had a lot of blood drawn, which is why I'm so weak. Thinking about it now, isn't it ridiculous? Everyone is dead, and I'm the only one left struggling. The demon realm has been taken from us. What will Cheng Xiao and the king say when they find out? I also thought of my dad. What would he do? Even if he wasn't here, you and your family. So I think he would say, "Thank you." I'm very grateful that you fought for me until the last moment. I will do my best to help you. Let's restore the Rattler family to its former glory together. Asher. Asher recalled what Chung Xiao and the king had said. Isn't the competition between the demon families fierce? I will make your Rattler family the strongest. Thinking of this, Asher's face was full of tears. At the same time, the system suddenly prompted, the last survivor of the orthodox demon nobility, Asher Rattler, pays tribute to the player. Seeing this, Asher smiled and rubbed his eyes. We are the Rattler family. Notice, do you agree to make the descendant of Bai Yin your partner? I couldn't believe it. This clumsy girl who often tripped even while walking was actually the only descendant of one of the 8 kings, Bai Yin, and she often hid in the corner and cried alone. She was easily coaxed back to her room by a boy with just a cheap additive drink. Just now, I stared at the prompt box in disbelief. Was Asher the descendant of a second king? How could this be? The last survivor of the demon nobility meant that only Asher remained from the entire clan. Without hesitation, I chose yes and formed a bond skill with her. Demon Strike. Receive the power of Bai Yan's descendant to unleash a powerful blow. Seeing this, Asher was dumbfounded. I also have a status box? It's a pity we can't talk, so I don't know where it came from. It seemed partners could also see the status box. Asher only realized then that she was actually a descendant of King Bai Yin. I then took Asher to a secluded place. Let's try our new bond skill. Ready, Asher? As the bond skill unleashed a powerful blow, a statue of a female demon appeared in the air, holding a black orb in her hand. I was puzzled. Was this my and Asher's bond skill? It looked powerful, but then Asher behind me collapsed with a thud. I'm sorry, young master. Using the skill once drained all my strength. No wonder. One skill consumed all her strength. Just how powerful was it? But a skill that could transfer all her power to me must be the strongest single attack. Then let me test the strength of this bond skill. I punched the wall. Although a deep pit appeared instantly, the force was far less than I expected, not much different from usual. It seemed different from Xiaowi's bond skill. Asher then slowly regained consciousness. Young master, the power I gave you is only this much. I only understood after reading the system description. It turned out that Demon Strike was related to the charge level, but it didn't say how to charge it. Bell spoke up. Young master, I have a small request. Can I eat these demon corpses? I immediately refused. These corpses are for extracting shadows. I slowly extended my right hand, but then the system suddenly prompted, mana polluted, unable to extract shadows. Bell explained, even the king couldn't extract the shadow of a demon whose soul was polluted, so he could only control it through a contract, like with the Redillers. In that case, Bell, eat them. Asher started crying. Why? To say that we demons are polluted. It's too much. I awkwardly took out a potion. Don't be angry. Drink some potion, you'll feel better. By the way, you don't have a place to stay now, do you? You can live anywhere in this city area. I drew a designated area for Asher and designated her as the owner of this territory. We are partners. This is what I should do. Just then, Bell's voice came from the side. Young master, in the memories of these demon corpses, I found clues about the Ederlin. I'll tell you about these memories, but before that, I must tell you 2 things. First, star powder has begun to spread on Earth. Second, the mysterious flame beast is a monster from outer space. Asher was shocked. Isn't star powder only circulating in the demon realm? I was also puzzled. The mysterious flame beast was actually from outer space? Bell continued, I don't know if it's coincidence or fate, but all the demons I ate are related to Brokey. To secure the material for star powder, the mysterious flame beast, they purchased from the Hound Guild and infected these people, turning them into mysterious flame beasts. Besides here, there are many other places producing star powder, and these places are called star powder factories. Therefore, I've organized all the information, the Hound Guild that kidnaps humans, the Reaper Guild that sends people to the factories, and the factories that produce star powder using these people. And among these 3, there must be Ederlin involvement. I immediately pondered. Was all this related to the Ederlin invasion? But then Bell continued, there's also a human who built this star powder production system. I was dumbfounded. There was actually a human, an apostle of the Ederlin hiding somewhere on Earth. There's a human helping this apostle. He is the vice president of the Reaper Guild, Li Wenzhong. If we follow him, we might be able to find the Ederlin apostle. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the Reaper Guild, a group of reporters had set up their cameras. Look, Vice President Li Wenjing is coming out. A burst of shutter clicks followed. Mr. Li Wenjing, can you answer a few questions for us? Are the results of the Hunter Association's investigation out yet? Li Wenjing calmly responded under the protection of his bodyguards. The investigation results show that we are innocent. This is also an expected result. At this time, someone loudly questioned, are you really unaware of the Reaper Guild funding the Hound Guild to kidnap ordinary people? Also, there have been frequent hunter deaths in the S-Zone managed by the Reaper Guild. What do you think about this? Who would have thought this Li Wenjing could act so well? Tears streamed down his face. Our Reaper Guild, after the great upheaval 2 years ago, only contributed to this chaotic world. The original intention of funding the Hound Guild was to hope that the Hound Guild, mostly composed of D-rank hunters, could participate in public welfare activities sooner. The S-Zone was also intended to be shared with other guild hunters, allowing new hunters to train there. I didn't expect that good intentions would inadvertently do bad things. If I had put more effort into management. Speaking of this, Li Wenjing actually cried loudly. There wouldn't have been any sacrifices. I'm sorry everyone. Our Reaper Guild has let the public down. The crowd began to murmur. How is this possible? If it's true, then the Reaper Guild is too wronged. And the Hunter Association also said they were innocent. Has the Reaper Guild been doing so many good deeds? Aren't they heroes then? Unbeknownst to them, Li Wenjing turned around and revealed a villainous expression. This kind of acting is a piece of cake for a former Asian superstar like me. As expected, the old fox Li Wenjing didn't pursue my responsibility and just let me come back. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The Hunter Association doesn't seem to know yet that the star powder circulating on the market is my doing. Unbeknownst to him, I was watching his every move. Looking at his departing figure, I couldn't help but think, so that's Li Wenjing. This guy is too insidious. Bell, can you sense the Ederlin's aura? Bell indicated that he couldn't. That meant he wasn't currently controlled by the Ederlin. I thought for a moment, is he or isn't he? We'll find out soon. Just then, Bell reminded me, I know, young master, you've defeated several powerful enemies, but this time, Bell must advise against confrontation. Because contacting Li Wenjing is extremely dangerous. The magic power this human possesses is far beyond your current capabilities, young master. You are absolutely no match for him. After Earth's great upheaval, he was a man revered as a god by the public. He would cry bitterly whenever a citizen was killed by a demon. But in private, he was an extremely evil man. Not only did he spend his days and nights in nightclubs, but he also enjoyed himself with his subordinates. Even the octogenarian nightclub owner was just his plaything. Not only that, he also privately traded star powder to consolidate his position. Just now, under a dazzling golden chandelier, surrounded by fruit platters and high-end alcohol, Li Wenjing was holding a beautiful woman. Too easy. Just a little acting, and the public opinion has shifted. Reaper Guild Vice President Li Wenjing is not suspected, and the guild's dedication to public welfare has been publicized. The opening of the S-Zone was for new hunters. After the Hound Guild incident, Vice President Li Wenjing continued his charitable work. The owner suddenly walked in. My goodness, isn't this the hero of the hunter world? Why didn't you tell me you were coming in advance? She then gestured for the beauties in the private room to leave. Li Wenjing simply replied, do I have to report everything I do to you? No, you know I didn't mean that. Li Wenjing, who had been a child star and a young superstar, had some unavoidable arrogance. However, after the great upheaval, this arrogance was completely trampled. Although he became a level 1 awakened and caused a sensation, his driver became one of the few S-rank awakened in the country. The relationship between the two changed dramatically overnight. But for some reason, he joined his driver Lin Zigui's Reaper Guild. Now, let's talk business, Vice President Li. Li Wenjing asked, what business? The owner leaned close to his ear. Don't play dumb. I'm talking about star powder, of course. Li Wenjing immediately put down his glass. Haven't you heard the rumors outside? We lost a distributor and a factory. We definitely can't keep up with the supply. But the owner just smiled faintly. Don't joke, Vice President Li. How could you possibly have no way? Fine, I'll urge my partner. Do I have to go find that guy myself? He hasn't been listening to me lately. That kid. Meanwhile, on my side, Xiao Wei was constantly hunting green demons in the Shadow Dungeon, and Asher was also constantly improving her strength. My level wasn't increasing anymore. To find my parents, I had to become stronger and protect Earth's safety like my father. Bell, summon the next green demon. Bell replied without hesitation, young master seems a little anxious. Currently, we need to get clues about the Ederlin stone from Li Wanzheng. Bell suggested not to engage in conflict, because contacting Li Wanzheng was extremely dangerous. I was puzzled. But how do we get clues from him? Bell responded coldly, if he doesn't cooperate, I can only eat him to confirm. The king has allowed me to eat evil people. But the premise of all this was defeating Li Wanzheng. I've seen all kinds of hunters at the Hunter Association. Based on my judgment, your current strength is about C rank, young master, while Xiao Wei is D rank. Asura is also C rank, same as you. If it's you and Xiao Wei combined, you can barely reach B rank at most. Although there are gaps within the same rank, for a D rank to defeat a C rank, they need the power of 10 D ranks. It's practically impossible to defeat Li Wanzheng now. I pondered for a moment. The power gap between me and Li Wanzheng was too large. Let's check the mission rewards first. Ability points in a random box. This time the harvest was good, but there was no skill. Was the hidden reward a one-time thing? Let's see what's in the random box. I opened it and found a gray ring. Acquisition difficulty, 0. Accessory type, plus 5 cents. Now my cents had reached 29 points. Not bad. I actually got a ring that increased cents by 5 points. But it couldn't change my current situation. I don't know since when, but hunting green demons no longer increased my level, and this time the attack power of fire gods would only increase by 3%. I wanted to become stronger quickly, but there were too few ways to become stronger now. To level up, I still had to enter dungeons and defeat monsters. Currently, only the mining team and retrieval team were willing to contact me. That's right, which attack team would recruit a level 1 hunter? But I couldn't enter the portal without authorization. According to the Hunter Association regulations, that was illegal. Bell suggested, why don't you go and reevaluate your magic power, young master? But I refused without thinking. Doing so would inevitably expose my strength. Since I already knew that the Ederlin Apostle was on Earth, I had to be more careful in the future. If they discovered me, I would become a burden to humanity. One Li Wanzheng was troublesome enough. If I added another Ederlin Apostle, I couldn't even imagine it. But Bell told me not to worry too much about the Ederlin strength. If they arrived on Earth before you, then their power shouldn't be too strong now due to the dimensional shift. Because for interdimensional travel, you have to go through a dimensional gap. The outer wall of this dimensional gap is very narrow and has complex attributes that conflict with magic power. Even if the outer wall is forcibly expanded, it will quickly recover. So the stronger the magic power, the more time and energy it takes. This is also the reason why the Ederlin army can't invade this universe, and why it's difficult for the king to return now. It's because of the dimensional shift. After listening to Bell's explanation, I understood. The apostles who could come to Earth were all relatively weak. This made sense. No wonder they used Brokey and the demons instead of showing up themselves. If the Ederlin invasion was a long process, now was the perfect time for me to become stronger. Seeing me lost in thought, Bell couldn't help but recall that when King Cheng Xiaoyu sent him back to Earth, he had instructed, after you go back, no matter what decision or choice you make, I'll leave it all to you. Then the king handed Bell a key. When you need help, take this and find him. He will definitely be of great help to show how. The other reason why the king gave Bell the key, was it for this moment? Just then, I suddenly screamed. I'm such a fool. I reached into my pocket. A way to enter the portal without violating the Hunter Association regulations and without anyone knowing. Wasn't it right in front of me? It's been a while, uncle. Long time no see, Xiaohao. This is the first time we've met since your awakening. I thought something happened when you suddenly contacted me, but it's just a proposal. This was my uncle, Lu Qinghao, also the chairman of Smilefong Software. I never thought that this scruffy, unkempt man would actually be a rich second generation in real life. And he even developed the world's first virtual reality game. But what surprised me even more was that he was actually my uncle. Just upstairs. The game he developed had a peak concurrent player record of 12.41 million, and it had been the top game for 4 years since its launch. It was the incredibly popular virtual reality game, Beautiful World. No one expected that a seemingly incompetent rich second generation could develop the top game in the industry. And the name of his game company was Smilefong Software, and the boss of that company was. Then I arrived at Smilefong. The chairman has been waiting for you. This way, Mr. Chung. I didn't expect such courtesy. It was my first time visiting my uncle's company. But what was strange was why there were so many awakened in the company. The guide explained, are you confused? Not all awakened want to risk their lives in dungeons. As long as the pay is good, they can both work and protect you. As for anything else, I can't tell you too much. Soon, I arrived at my uncle's office. As soon as we met, my uncle greeted me enthusiastically. Long time no see, Xiuhao. You've grown so much. Let your uncle have a good look. I heard you awakened at the National Academy of Fine Arts. Do you know how worried your aunt was? But you've matured a lot lately. I could only smile awkwardly. Isn't this just puberty? Uncle, let's get down to business. Please take a look at this first. My uncle picked up the proposal and glanced at it. I knew you had something up your sleeve when you suddenly contacted me. So it's a proposal. Looks like our Xiuhao has grown up. You mean you want your uncle to help you enter the portal, right? Yes, uncle. As long as you help me purchase the portal and form an attack team that meets the conditions for entering the portal, I'm willing to give all the magic stones obtained from the portal to Smilefong Software, free of charge. I have no problem with level 4 dungeons. My uncle's expression turned serious. Just you? A level 1 hunter? I had no choice but to continue explaining. I have my own way to clear the portal. But my uncle still disagreed. Xiuhao, you know your uncle is also an awakened, and my rank is higher than your level 1. But I'm not very active in the portal. You're so eager to enter the portal. Do you suspect your brother and sister-in-law were pulled in there? I've been investigating this with the Hunters Association. Just wait for the news. So that's what my uncle thought. Belle suddenly whispered, Young master, are you really going to tell him? Don't worry, Belle. My uncle is the person I trust the most. I thought for a moment and replied, Uncle, actually, I'm an awakened who can level up. My uncle was shocked. Level up? What? I slowly explained, there are invaders from outer space hiding on Earth right now. To deal with this crisis, I need to constantly hunt monsters and level up. To resist the future invasion, I need to enter the dungeon and become stronger. Just then, my uncle suddenly asked me, Have you heard of the solo leveling project? It seems you already know. No wonder you made such an unreasonable request, making things difficult for your uncle. What you just said is exactly the plot of the single-player game the company is developing. There's an awakened called the Solo Leveler. He starts from the weakest level 1 and keeps leveling up to S4, eventually becoming the strongest awakened in the world and protecting this world. I immediately thought of something. This must be the story of my dad's experiences, right? Trying to trick your uncle? You're still too young. At this time, Belle suddenly jumped out. This is clearly your memory, okay? Seeing Belle appear, my uncle was startled. Xiuhao, why is there an ant's face here? But Belle ignored him and continued, In the memories you've forgotten, you were once the king's little follower, the human who saw the king fight the most times. It must be those intensely stimulating moments that are still imprinted in your soul, resulting in this phenomenon. 1,000 words were not as effective as this. I took out the key that the king had given him. This is a gift from the king, specifically for you. As the key slowly inserted into my uncle's chest, his eyes became dull, and memories flooded his mind. Brother, you're level 1, right? I'll protect you from now on. That bag is so heavy, are you sure you're okay? Brother, are you always this quiet? But you seem to be talking a bit too much. Do you want to team up with him and fight us? Brother, 20 times. Don't fight with me 19 times? Please let me finish, brother. This is a set of reinforced armor made by our guild. If you and I enter the dungeon together, we should at least make these preparations. While I can still speak, quickly pour it down, so that the group hunt will end. Brother, you not only saved me, but you also kept helping me afterwards. To me, you're closer than a real brother. If you treat me as your brother, then I'll treat you as my own brother from now on. Bottoms up. My uncle remembered his past memories, and tears streamed down his face. He burst into tears. I didn't expect to meet my brother again in this world. I whispered to Belle, What did you do to my uncle? Belle signaled me to relax. He just regained the memories of the previous world. I see. Brother has the ability to become infinitely stronger. As his son, you should also have this ability, right? My brother is still protecting this world from the invasion of the Ederlin. As expected, my brother is still extraordinary. To stop the Ederlin's invasion of Earth, I must also become stronger. You really, even at this time, you specially wrote a proposal for the sake of appearances. My uncle understood the situation. I can't treat you like a child anymore, protecting and pampering you. I immediately became excited. I accept your proposal. Yay. My uncle was in a low mood. Brother is still enduring difficult trials, but he hopes to reawaken my memories. This means he's also given me a chance to help. Then leave it to me. I will definitely assist Xiuhao well. Soon, My uncle formed a team of awakened for me. But these people looked no different from ordinary people. They seemed to be the perfect candidates to fill the numbers. And awakened with a cane asked, "We really don't need to enter the portal? Just showing up gets us 20,000? And you're really going in alone? I don't know how confident you are, but this is too risky. If you really need help inside, let us know anytime, okay? Don't judge me by my current appearance, but I might be able to help a little then." I just smiled faintly. If I really need help, I'll let you know. In the past, my dad endured a lot alone, and now I was the same. The road ahead could only be walked by myself. Asher and Shall We, the partner system made me feel the warmth hidden in their hearts. For me now, I didn't want my dad to continue enduring alone. He looked like a harmless little boy, but inside him hid an evil soul. Any fluctuation in his mind would instantly brainwash everyone around him, turning them into puppets who only obeyed him. Even the cunning and treacherous hunter Li Wenjing had no power to resist in front of the boy. Just now, at the same time, Li Wenjing had to go out for something related to new fans. He then looked up and said, "It's been 3 months since we last saw each other, hasn't it?" An old man immediately recognized him. Isn't that Li Wenjing, the vice president of the Grim Reaper Guild, who was just in the news? Hearing this, Li Wenjing secretly rejoiced. As expected, outstanding people can't be hidden, no matter how hard you try. It seems that establishing a good image is also very important. Have a pleasant day, Assistant President. I'm your loyal supporter. This was the feeling Li Wenjing wanted. Everyone should look at him with such envious eyes, because he was born into a wealthy family. He debuted in the entertainment and advertising industries as a child and was known as the Prince of Asia in the entertainment world. After the Great Cataclysm, he even became a top-tier awakened, a true super elite. He thought his life would continue as it had before, always at the top of the pyramid. But after his driver, Lin Zigue, became an S-rank awakened, their relationship underwent a subtle reversal. From that point on, the world had crumbled for Li Wenjing. The Great Cataclysm triggered a restructuring of the pyramid, but Li Wenjing wasn't reconciled to it. He was even willing to join forces with demons. He then arrived at his destination. Wipe those disgusting smiles off your faces. Where is your master? The owner of the house is back. Is this how you greet me? Suddenly, a voice called out, "Li Wenjing, is it?" Greeting him was a boy holding a book, with hair color and eyes that Li Wenjing found annoying. "Are you an alien?" Li Wenjing patted the child lightly. "The last time I saw you, you were just a baby. You've grown so much in just a few days, and your magic has become stronger. Your growth has been quite smooth, hasn't it?" The boy replied indifferently, "I've told you before, it's not growth, it's recovery. To solve the difficult problem of dimensional travel, I divided my powerful main body into small fragments of power and personality and sent them to this world. The first to arrive was in an infant state. Then it merged with the second fragment that arrived, which is me now. Although the memories are connected, the personality is a little different from the one you knew. Simply put, don't try to get close to me." Li Wenjing just curled his lip. "I'm not interested in your personality. Do you remember our previous agreement?" The boy said, "Of course I remember. Wealth, fame, and eliminating the S-rank hunter Lin Zigue's team. So, what do you want this time?" Li Wenjing sneered. "Can't I even come back to my own house? There's a problem with the Stardust production. Recently, the Hound Guild and the S-Station factory, which supply firewood, were destroyed. So, I came to ask if there's any Stardust in stock." The boy simply asked, "Have you found the cause of the attacks? I heard that the hunter who wiped out the Hound Guild wore a black mask. And you, Li Wenjing, were the one who established the distribution system using the Stardust formula. Didn't you promise that there wouldn't be any problems with this system?" Li Wenjing immediately held up his hands. "If you worry about everything yourself, you won't achieve great things, kid." As soon as he said this, the boy's eyes suddenly became sharp, startling even Li Wenjing. The previous personality made a mistake choosing you as its pawn. Enraged, Li Wenjing immediately pulled a weapon from his leg and held it against the boy's neck. "I'm not like those puppets you've brainwashed," he threatened. "I'm a hunter who can easily take your life before you recover your power if I'm unhappy. So, you need to be clear about who's the pawn here." The boy simply said, "The only standard for human hunter rankings seems to be the magic power in their bodies. Thinking that it's an indicator of strength is foolish." As he spoke, strange magic power emanated from his body. The old man walking in the corridor suddenly felt his mind go blank, and a mysterious symbol appeared in his head. Li Wenjing was completely dumbfounded. What's going on? Magic power is emanating from all directions. Not only were the people on this floor affected, but everyone in the entire building was now controlled by the boy's magic. A giant yellow symbol slowly rose above the building. The boy finally spoke. The previous personality thought it needed you to survive. Now that I have the power to survive, our relationship depends on your future abilities. As the boy spoke, the brainwashed people surrounded Li Wenqing. Seeing this, Li Wenqing thought for a moment, then dropped his weapon. Just kidding. Don't take it seriously. I just wanted to see if you really had the ability to defeat an S-rank hunter. The boy didn't bother saying anything more. Forget it. I'll spare you since you're still useful. At the same time, everyone in the building returned to normal. A woman brought over a box. This is an awakening agent that's been concentrated 100 times. Diluted, it can produce a large amount of excitation. This concentrated awakening agent is effective even for a first-rate hunter like you. Do you want to try it? Li Wenqing forced a smile. Thank you for your kindness, but how could I use something of unknown origin? But who knows, maybe this time he's brought an even more outrageous monster to Earth. But I'm not going to worry about that. As long as I can get the awakening I want, what else does it matter to me? The boy suddenly dropped the book in his hand. I can feel it. Another fragment is coming. Once I merge with the next power fragment, I won't have to hide anymore. Then, the real invasion of Earth will begin. Level up. My hunter rank has finally reached B rank, and I can single-handedly take down a C rank boss. The collected materials can be sold directly in the store. Not only that, but Asura and Huey's strength has also greatly increased. What surprised me the most was that I actually discovered that Asura and Hui also have levels. Just now, outside the portal, those old and weak awakened only need to wait here, and every time I go in, they can get 30,000. The daily condition is to keep what they hear and see secret. And this is the 4th time they've received money. Whatever, who cares as long as there's money? But the man with the cane was very puzzled. That person didn't bring a mining team or a recovery team and cleared the portal alone. He doesn't mine or recover, so he probably won't get much benefit from entering the portal, right? Moreover, he started with a D rank portal and now he's going to C rank portals. I don't know what he's doing in there alone. Little did he know that my shadow soldiers are the mining and recovery team, and Hui and Asura are responsible for clearing the enemies. But Asura was also very puzzled. Can the young master really handle a C-rank boss alone? He was a little overworried. Now, this kind of C-rank boss only requires one whirlwind slash for me to trigger a paralysis effect. However, the C-rank boss's resistance wasn't very high, and it recovered in the blink of an eye. Strange. I also wanted to try the paralysis effect of the broken sword I got last time, but it seems it doesn't work on spider-type monsters. For insect-type creatures, it seems I can only use the most primitive method, which is to kill them directly. Swords are useless, so I can only use my fists. Clearly, the boss didn't expect me to engage in close combat, and I used my full strength for a single blow. The violent shockwave hit the boss directly in the head. One punch, just one punch with all my strength, and the C-rank boss died miserably at my feet. Next time, going to a B-rank portal shouldn't be a problem. Now I can proficiently use the ruler's omnipotence in battle, and my combat skills are becoming more and more proficient as I level up. But then again, I usually only use the ruler's omnipotence skill to move things. If I use these invisible hands in battle, my level has increased, and the ruler's omnipotence has also reached level 2, but I'm also exhausted. Maybe it requires more concentration. I'm so tired after using it. Depending on how I use ruler's omnipotence, my fighting style can become very diverse. At this time, Hui and Asura also rushed over. Asura asked in surprise, "Young master, you defeated the ultimate tyrant?" I smiled, of course. The monster materials have all been recovered, and now I can sell the materials directly in the shop window, which is really convenient. Bell behind me said doubtfully, "According to human hunter standards, young master, your strength is already close to B rank." I immediately opened the status window. My level had reached 28, just as Bell said. Bell continued, "And after you got stronger, young master, those two guys, Hui and Asura, also seem to have gotten stronger." Asura tentatively waved his fist. I do feel a surge of power in my body after the battle. But I was very puzzled. You haven't harmonized, so why do you have a level for regaining power? But then again, I seem to be able to see both of your levels. Asura is level 19 and Hui is level 17. Asura was very confused. We're not players like Chung Xiao and the Monarch. Even if you say we have levels, we can't see them. I thought for a moment. Although they can't accumulate points, their points will still increase when they level up. It's a good thing that they are getting stronger, but there are still many mysteries to be solved about the partner system. Why don't we try to see if we can really level up? Asura was confused. How do we try? I grinned. By hunting together, of course. Hearing hunting, Asura was dumbfounded. Hunting again? We've already hunted twice today. Belle also reminded me to take it easy, but I think we should do the daily quest while we still have time. Then I took Hui and Asura to hunt monsters, but what puzzled me was that a portal appeared in the shadow dungeon, and there was a strong heat coming from it. Could it be that the inside of the portal has been affected? So I asked Belle, do portals also appear in shadow dungeons? Belle hesitated for a moment. I'm not sure about that either. Then the system prompted, Emergency Quest, Dimensional Rift. A dimensional rift has been detected. Please move through the connected portal and eliminate the cause of the dimensional rift. So it was a system-issued quest. Seeing this, I smiled. This is going to be fun. So I immediately threw 2 heat-insulating robes to Asura and Hui. Wearing them can isolate direct light and a certain amount of heat. Of course, these are all from the system mall. I just happen to want to hunt another wave of monsters. Isn't this killing 2 birds with 1 stone? Let's go in now. Meanwhile, in the pyramid area of the Ishii Well dungeon, he was Rio, an Asura Guild B-rank hunter. Damn it, you're bullying us too much. You're kicking us out of the dungeon without any explanation. We, the Asura Guild, were here first. But the green-eyed man simply replied disdainfully, so what if you were here first? I'm warning you one last time. From now on, this Ishii Well dungeon belongs to our guild. If you have any objections, we'll consider it a declaration of war. The Asura Guild's B-rank hunter pondered for a moment. Damn it, we just had to run into the powerful scavenger guild here. In the face of absolute strength, everything was clearly futile, especially against the scavenger guild's B-rank hunter, Randolph. But even so, the Asura Guild members didn't back down. A strong person's dignity could not be trampled upon. Everyone, prepare for battle. Randolph just closed his eyes disdainfully and snorted coldly. But just as the 2 sides were about to engage in a major battle, a large hand suddenly appeared from the side. No. Excuse me, may I ask where this is? He had passed by the Asura Guild hunters. I'm with Zhang Miaoheng Shadow Monarch. Hurry. We were supposed to be mortal enemies, but who would have thought that we would now be on the same side? Just now, after careful inspection, I found that this place is actually the desert dungeon. No wonder sand was falling from the portal. Bell reminded me from the side. He sensed powerful magic from within the pyramid, but it also seems like he saw something that shouldn't be here. Why are there cars and barbed wire here? It's said that machines can't be started inside dungeons. Could there be something that doesn't belong here? Could it have been brought in through the portal? But Bell immediately denied this. That's absolutely impossible. So I prepared to go ahead and investigate. But after investigating, something strange happened. The dungeon portal disappeared. The old man with the cane and the others outside were also speechless. It's possible that someone killed the final boss, but I haven't come out of the dungeon yet. So everyone called the outside world for help. Meanwhile, I had already arrived inside the pyramid and happened to see the 2 groups about to fight. So we must have entered the pyramid first, and they probably drove here. Moreover, their conversation was entirely in English. Fortunately, my English was pretty good before, so I was able to communicate with them. Rio pondered for a moment. Another hunter? After the Scavenger Guild, are Eastern hunters also coming to seize ownership of the dungeon? But Randolph just glanced over disdainfully. What a bother. These ants are really persistent. His eyes suddenly narrowed. The prophet once foretold that a life born from death, wielding the power to raise the undead, would appear in a tomb. After this prophecy appeared, this country gained the pyramid-shaped Ishii Well dungeon. A tomb, a pyramid, and death, doesn't it all match up? Randolph remembered the instructions he received before coming. If other guilds come to seize the dungeon, deal with them as Randolph would. Randolph closed his eyes and said coldly, if you're also a hunter here for the dungeon, I'm warning you one last time. Leave now, and I might spare your life. I remained calm and gave him a negative answer. Seeing this, Randolph's fist suddenly clenched. You're too naive. Then prepare to leave your life here. Seeing this, Asura and we were worried. Even Rio didn't expect Randolph to suddenly attack. But I easily dodged Randolph's attack, which Randolph hadn't expected. I also assumed a fighting stance. You attacked first, I said, thrusting the long sword in my hand directly into the armor on Randolph's chest. After my strength increased, I didn't know how much damage I would do. I hit his armor, so he shouldn't die, right? But Randolph was shocked. A mere brat dares to underestimate me like this? He punched me again, and I dodged the attack immediately. Randolph angrily ordered, "Whether you're from the Asura Guild or an Easterner, kill them all. No mercy." Asura and Hui on the side couldn't stand it anymore. "How dare you attack our young master? Ask us first if we agree." Rio instantly realized that a battle with the Scavenger Guild was inevitable. My thoughts were similar to his. If I wanted to complete the emergency quest, I had to win this battle. Now I can be sure that the armored man I just attacked belongs to the enemy guild, and the guy with the mustache's stance is still unclear. But no matter what, I have to deal with these armored men first. After a few rounds, the armored man realized that he couldn't do anything to me. "Brat, your strength is truly surprising. With such insufficient strength, you dare to oppose our scavenger guild? Wouldn't it be better to obediently listen to the strong?" I was also puzzled. I originally wanted to knock these armored men unconscious, but I failed. I didn't expect these guys to be so resistant. I can't drag this out any longer. So I prepared to use the ruler's omnipotence combat skill I just learned. I don't know if it can be used on people, but this power is too strong. What if I accidentally kill him? Just as I was hesitating whether to hold back, Rio suddenly charged over and stabbed the armored man behind him without saying a word. The armored man spat out a mouthful of blood, then collapsed to the ground. Rio then slowly said, "When you dodged Randolph's attack, I could see that you were very strong, but you hesitated just now. Are you afraid to kill?" I was speechless. Afraid to kill? I'm already prepared to risk my life. Isn't that enough? Because until now, I haven't encountered a situation where I absolutely had to kill someone. Even when fighting the Hound Guild, due to the huge difference in strength, I could easily resolve the battle without much effort. But how could every situation be in my favor? There will be situations where it's either you die or I die, situations where I can't protect others without killing. But in this world after the Great Cataclysm, such situations should be endless, right? I, who have been focused on leveling up, actually overlooked one thing. I need to throw away the feelings I had before the Great Cataclysm. Only then can I fight Li Wenqing. Rio introduced himself as a hunter from the Asura Guild. "We're having trouble with the Scavenger Guild. Do you want to join forces with me?" As soon as he finished speaking, I greeted him with a fully charged fist. But my target wasn't him, but the armored man trying to sneak attack from behind him. My fist mercilessly smashed into his face and sent him flying. If I encounter this situation again in the future, I will definitely choose to attack without hesitation. The armored man on the ground was beaten beyond recognition, but Randolph's face showed little emotion, knocking a Birankmi shield into a near-death state with one blow. He sneered. I realized that Randolph was definitely not easy to deal with. So I said to Rio, "I'm Sho from H Country. Let's join forces." Sakura was dumbfounded after seeing my strength. Not only was my physical skill so strong, but I was also a summoner, and I could summon so many summons at once. But the most outrageous part was yet to come. This guy could even fuse. Just now, after I joined forces with the Asura Guild, the situation on the field quickly improved. The Star Scavenger Guild also noticed this, but they were still disdainful. Even if you join forces, small fry are still small fry. Whether in terms of individual combat power or numbers, the Star Scavenger Guild had an absolute advantage. But they clearly underestimated me. I immediately took out the dungeon key. I haven't even used my full strength yet. Get up. The Star Scavenger Guild members were dumbfounded. What is that thing? An ordinary level giant arachne. Under the terrifying combat power of the Shadow Legion, the situation quickly turned one-sided. Rio was stunned. You have such strong physical skills, you're a summoner, and you can summon so many summons at once. You're a freak. Randolph was also shocked. Kid, you've been hiding your strength. Interesting. Seeing Randolph, I couldn't help but feel a chill. Although my strength changes after becoming a shadow soldier, he should be the strongest person I've encountered so far, considering he took down the magic hand I struggled against with one blow. It seems I underestimated Huey's bond skill. But at this moment, Asura suddenly stepped forward. Young master, wait a moment. How about using my bond skill this time? Didn't we figure out how to increase the charge time when we cleared the dungeon? She looked at me expectantly, but is it really reliable to use a skill I've never used before in actual combat? Asura was disappointed but still wanted to try. I hope you'll give me a chance to help you, young master. Just then, a sound suddenly came from behind Asura. Not good, monsters are coming. Could they have been attracted by the sound of battle? Asura reminded me the other entrances are all blocked by monsters. Randolph sneered, undead monsters. I finally understand what the prophecy the boss heard meant. A life born from death, wielding the power to raise the undead, will appear in a tomb. If it refers to these mummies, then it must be in this dungeon. A life born from death. The boss's order is to gain ownership of the dungeon. But the competition between guilds is so fierce right now. The best way is to take the power to raise the undead that the boss wants. But he was unwilling to give up just like that. So he immediately made up his mind. All scavenger guild members, listen up. Ignore the other guild hunters. We're going to find the final boss. Rio immediately shouted, the scavenger guild is entering the dungeon. Stop them. But he turned around and saw the dense mummies. Damn it, they're trying to use the mummies to hold us back. The entrance is on their side. I also realized that if this continues, we'll lose the reward. So I ordered Fuse. We should also finish this quickly. Rio was even more shocked when he saw this. What other secrets is this kid hiding? Not only can he summon, but he can also fuse. He's a monster. The Randolph guild members had already entered the passage, although there were scattered mummies blocking them. They quickly cleared them out. Randolph finally realized that the brat seemed to be holding back. After I get the power to raise the undead, I'll definitely have a good fight with him. The final boss's room should be just ahead. As the ancient door slowly opened, what came into view was a humanoid creature bound by chains. Is this the final boss? It looks like it's sleeping. But Randolph was worried. A monster bound by chains. The prophecy mentioned a life born from death, appearing after the seal is broken, right? Suddenly, a harsh sound came from the monster's mouth. Listening carefully, it was actually the monster language. Could the monster be talking to us? As the sound grew louder, cracks began to appear in the chains on the monster's arms. With a snap, the chains suddenly broke. Randolph quickly ordered, all personnel, prepare for battle. But the monster simply swung the chains in its hands, instantly splitting the scavenger guild members in half. Only Randolph remained on the field, and the monster slowly walked towards him. Randolph was terrified. How was this possible? The guild's invincible me shields were wiped out by its chains. The monster slowly opened its arms. Randolph was dumbfounded. Does it want me to attack it? Randolph gritted his teeth. Do you think I'm a pushover just because I'm quiet? He immediately activated the skill giant's armor. With this skill, both his defense and attack would be greatly enhanced. But even so, after striking with all his might, Randolph was shocked to find, how is this possible? My full strength attack didn't even scratch it. Randolph knew it was too late. I'm sorry, boss. I should have waited for you to come. But it was too late for Randolph to regret. With a casual blow, the monster slammed Randolph into the wall. The monster slowly spoke. This is the first time a living being has come here. I wanted to have some fun with you, but I didn't expect you to be so weak. But it doesn't matter. There seem to be other living beings, so let's play. For days later, the S-rank monster in the desert dungeon finally appeared. With a single blow, it devoured the giant centipede that everyone was helpless against. And it didn't intend to let us go either. Hui was knocked unconscious, foaming at the mouth, and I was slammed into the wall. Even Asura, who is also a demon, was about to become meat paste under the S-rank monster's feet. Just now, I was still dealing with the endless stream of mummies. How long will this go on? Why not try extracting shadows? But the system prompted that I couldn't extract souls that have been dead for too long, and I couldn't use it on demons either. Why are there so many skill restrictions? Just then, the ground suddenly began to shake violently, and the entire ground became unstable. With a loud boom, a centipede the size of a giant dragon rose from the ground. Damn it, one mummy was hard enough to deal with, and now there's this giant thing. I had no choice but to bite the bullet and fight. But even after using all my strength, I found that their shells were too hard. My attacks had no effect at all. Helplessly, Rio suggested, there are too many monsters. Although the Scavenger Guild has taken ownership of the dungeon, we should retreat for now. I thought for a moment. The emergency quest required us to resolve the cause of the red portal. Even if the Scavenger Guild captured the final boss, they might not be able to complete the quest, so we might still have a chance. But at that moment, a giant shadow suddenly appeared. Rio's expression changed. This is the passage the Scavenger Guild entered. This monster came out of the passage, which means... I immediately sensed that this monster was the tomb prisoner, Amit, and the red name above its head indicated a disaster-level monster that exceeded the normal specifications. Amit suddenly opened its mouth. Vanish. As soon as it finished speaking, the mummies outside seemed to have received instructions and stopped attacking, retreating from the hall. Unexpectedly, Asura could hear Amit's voice. Just now, I heard the monster say vanish, and then the mummies started to retreat. Ashiel could understand the monster probably, because they're both of the demon race. Amit then said, I see mindless undead or bugs scattered in the desert every day. It's been so long since I've encountered someone I can talk to. Ashiel looked puzzled. This monster seems pretty easygoing. But as soon as he finished speaking, Amit smashed the giant centipede. Ashiel was dumbfounded. He killed that centipede in one hit. Amit said indifferently, Before I chat with you, I need to take care of all these insignificant ants who can't understand me. He then snapped the centipede in half and bit off its head. Everyone was stunned. This monster actually ate another monster. Leo Star was the most shocked. According to their assessment, this dungeon was only CB rank. Why would a monster capable of instantly killing a giant centipede appear here? Amit slowly walked towards the group. So there are other creatures here who don't understand language. You're all going to die too. Leo Star could barely block the attack with his sword. Ashiel yelled, Trap. I also attacked at once, which barely saved Leo Star. You're trying to kill us just because we don't speak the same language? What kind of values are those? I asked. Amit's face fell. So there are humans who can communicate. You want to know my values? I'll tell you. He then attacked us directly, blasting me against the wall. Ashiel looked worried seeing me injured. Young master, how dare you attack the young master? Amit immediately asked, Is he your companion? I won't kill you. Consider it your apology. You demons should know many things, right? It would be great if you could answer my questions. Is the war between the Shadow King and the other kings over? If so, who won? Ashiel was confused. How did this guy know about the war between the kings? He looked at the unconscious young master and the dying Xiao Kuei. Despair filled his heart. To answer was death. Not to answer was also death. Amit, tired of waiting, raised his leg to stomp on Ashiel. You're going to die too. Just then, I coughed up blood. Congratulations, you have recovered from an abnormal status. Thankfully, I was prepared. The daily quest reward came in handy. I've heard some things about the war between the kings. It said they all died at the hands of the Shadow King. Amit stopped his attack. Is what you said true? While I was imprisoned here, the war between the kings really ended. That's right, I confirmed. The final victor was his father, the Shadow King, Chung Xiaoyou. This guy asked about the war between the kings. He might be a descendant of one of them. This crocodile monster is at least S rank. If we upset him, we might all be wiped out. Amit continued to ask, So the other kings are dead? If the other kings are dead, then the Diamond King, Talnak, also died at the hands of the Shadow King, right? He was the descendant of the Diamond King, killed by my father. We should be mortal enemies. Yet I made a decision that betrayed my ancestors, to save him by any means necessary. Just now, if he knew I was the son of the Shadow King, he might have torn me apart. But in the next second, his giant hand slammed down. Ashiel yelled, Young master, be careful. Amit said, Since you can't answer immediately, you must be thinking of how to deceive me. I'll ask you one more time. Did the Diamond King die at the hands of the Shadow King? I mumbled. I heard he killed all the kings. Amit's reply shocked me. No wonder he hasn't come to find me. He's dead. I should thank the Shadow King. I questioned him. Aren't you a follower of the Diamond King? Hearing the word follower, Amit became furious. You say I'm his follower? How dare you? Humans shouldn't be alive. He slammed his hammer towards me. Just as it was about to hit me, chains bound his fist. Amit roared, Damn chains. Have I exceeded the area I can reach again? He started attacking in all directions. Damn Talnak. Damn wizard. Damn you all. As he spoke, the chains, as if alive, dragged Amit away. I was dumbfounded. I don't know what happened, but it was a stroke of luck. I almost forgot. I need to find a way to heal Xiao Hui and the Asura guild members. Just then, the system quest sounded again. Dimensional rift detected. Please move through the linked portal and eliminate the cause of the dimensional rift. The emergency quest changed. It wanted me to free Amit, imprisoned in the pyramid, who was a descendant of the Diamond King. I had no choice but to go. On the way, I found the bodies of the scavenger guild. Are you looking for me? You have guts, I said calmly. I just want to have a good chat with you. It seems you really hate the Diamond King. Why is that? Amit pointed to the chains on his body. I'm like this because of him. Talnak and the wizard made me what I am now, but they also abandoned me in this tomb. They turned me, an ordinary demon, into this. Although I was abandoned in a tomb full of undead and chained by these damn chains, even if I destroy the chains, they will reappear as long as I leave this place. I can never go anywhere else. I can never forgive them. Talnak and the wizard made me suffer so much. I said seriously, I'm here to save you. But how can we make the constantly regenerating chains disappear? Wait a minute. I had a bold guess. Why did the wizard make the chains reappear whenever Amit went a certain distance? If I guess correctly, there must be something else here. If I can help you leave this place, can you fulfill one of my conditions, Amit? Amit looked confused. As long as you can help me leave, I'll agree to not just 1, but 10 conditions. But if you dare to trick me, you know the consequences, human. I gestured for Amit to wait. Listen to me before you decide. I plan to destroy this dungeon. Didn't you say the chains can't reach deeper places? If this is intentional by the wizard, it must be to prevent you from killing the dungeon master. So, only by defeating and destroying the dungeon master and the foundation of the chains being lost, what will happen to the chains then? If the anchors aren't secure, what's the point of the chains? Amit opened his mouth. This is an interesting guess. Suddenly, Belle appeared out of nowhere and immediately began to complain. Young master, how could you leave Belle with this savage reptile instead of by your side? Amit scolded him for being like a headless fly. Belle got angry. You call me a headless fly? I'm a being of your caliber. You're a reptile who wants to die at my hands. After talking to Belle, I learned that the little brat was actually the son of the Shadow King. This is the deepest part of the tomb I can go. That brat has been in there for a long time. If he can't defeat the dungeon master, he'll fail. Destroying the dungeon and not being able to unlock the chains is also a failure. But what he said before made Amit inexplicably confident. If you really succeed, little brat, I will agree to your condition. Talnak, you said that physical strength is true strength, so you created me. But even beings weaker than us have such great moments. The descendant of the Shadow King might really be able to get me out of here. After dealing with the monsters along the way, I finally reached the deepest part of the pyramid. Only the last one remains. He is the administrator of this tomb, Sika. Success. I finally rescued Amit, the descendant of the Diamond King. He is also the strongest of my 3 companions. But my uncle thought I was trapped in the dungeon and even used the most powerful connections in the guild. Even the cunning Li Wensheng from the Death God Guild didn't have the qualifications to be promoted by him. Just now, before dealing with Sika, we had already discussed it. Because of the chains, Amit couldn't even enter the dungeon, so he was just giving it a try. But for the plan to succeed, 2 things had to be done. First, Ashiel and I had to defeat the final boss, Sika, so that the dungeon could collapse. Second, we had to take the opportunity to disable the chains that had lost their support. Only after these steps were completed, Amit and Belle, freed from the chains, would meet up with me, and then we would enter the shadow dungeon together to avoid the dungeon's collapse. If any of these things failed, it would be a failure. So, I also came up with a second plan. But Amit didn't want to hear it. Having hope is better than having no hope. Good luck, kid. The tomb administrator, Sika, was a treasure in the desert dungeon. Because it was full of sand, it was difficult to approach, and his name was red, indicating he was at least a B-rank monster. Therefore, my mana would be depleted first in battle, and I had to finish the fight quickly. I dodged and flew over. Ashiel's attack followed closely, but Sika just waved his hand, knocking away both attacks. I shouted to Ashiel, "Let's use the bond skill." Ashiel's spirits lifted. "Okay, young master, you finally agreed." When I was with the young master, I learned the charging conditions of the bond skill. As long as I hunt monsters, I can absorb their souls and increase the charge. It was time to show the results of the battle. With the strong support of the bond skill, I shot to Sika's front. But just as I was about to unleash the bond skill on Sika, Ashiel suddenly collapsed, but then quickly regained consciousness. The young master has always seen my incompetent side. This time, I must let the young master unleash the damage of the bond skill. The demon strike was charged to 67%. Let the bond skill end this. With the sudden roar of the demon strike, the power was unexpectedly strong, shaking the entire dungeon violently. Even Carl was shocked. Did the young master do this? Amit looked at all this in disbelief. Is the dungeon going to collapse? It seems they successfully defeated the dungeon master. As soon as he finished speaking, the base of the chain snapped, freeing Amit. Bell hurriedly reminded him. Crocodile, quickly follow me to find the young master. But Amit still couldn't believe it. I'm finally free from Talnak. He still didn't understand why Talnak and the wizard used him, an ordinary demon, for their experiments. He only remembered the constant pain of the destruction and recovery experiments. Talnak destroyed his body, but the wizard healed his injuries. As the experiments repeated, his body became extremely strong, but his spirit couldn't bear the pain, so he gouged out his eyes to enjoy the pain. In that endless pain, one obsession always supported him: to feel the magnificence and majesty of the beautiful nature he saw as a child again, as long as he could fulfill this wish in the future. He pulled the stake over and bit it hard. Even though his mouth was bleeding, he didn't show any expression. Then, he fiercely threw the stake and chain aside. Damn Talnak and the wizard. Would you rather kill me than let me go? I quickly followed and tried many ways to break the chains on Amit, but all to no avail. Why are these chains so annoying? And they attacked back. If the chains wouldn't let go of Amit, then I could only take the stake with me. This was a last resort, but Amit still didn't understand. Cheng Xiaohao, what do you want me to do for you? Why are you so desperate to take me with you? I didn't answer, but continued to try various ways to break the chains. Even if my bones were broken, I still couldn't break the chains. Amit continued. I finally understand, Talnak. No, all the kings. I know why they lost to the Shadow King. You don't have to go through so much trouble. Just put the stake into the portal. I don't believe we can't get out. I encouraged Amit. Come on, I believe you can do it. Let's struggle together until the end. Ashiel woke up from his coma and asked why I was here. Bell explained. The young master sent you back to the Shadow Dungeon early when he saw you were unconscious. Ashiel hurriedly asked, how are things with Amit? Bell made a hushed gesture. The young master is resting there. Hearing that the young master is safe and sound, it seems he finally succeeded. Now, Amit, like Xiao Hui and Ashiel, has successfully become my companion, and the Dimensional Rift mission is complete. At the same time, in a luxurious office, the president held my father's information. After Cheng Xiaoyong, the hunter, disappeared, something seemed to have happened quietly. The reappearance of the portal and the hunter is all thanks to the memories left by Cheng Xiaoyong. I quickly established the Hunter Association and quelled the chaos after the Great Change. The appearance of star powder shows that this incident is different from what happened in the previous world. This is an unprecedented awakening skill that can enhance the magic power of low-level hunters without any side effects. But there is only one clue we have now, and that is that the person responsible for the circulation of star powder is Li Wensheng, the vice president of the Death God Guild. Being so active while guild leader Lin Zigui is away on business, it's highly likely that Li Wensheng is behind this. Li Wensheng wasn't this bold in the previous world. There must be another mastermind behind him. The president's phone rang. Representative, what can I do for you? Please feel free to contact me if you need anything. The establishment of the association is thanks to your support, Representative. The person on the other end of the phone was my uncle, Lu Chenhao. I need the Hunter Association's help, so I contacted you. My nephew just awakened as a hunter, and he seems to be trapped in a portal. You have to find a way to save him, President Wu. Hearing that it was Representative Lu Chenhao's nephew, President Wu pondered for a moment and suddenly realized something. Are you talking about Cheng Xiaohao?
Thanks for watching. Like and comment for more. See you next time.